2 o'clock in the morning. Splash! The undead army surged onto city wall like a tidal wave. The dwarves who put up a strong resistance did not necessarily die under the sword. More often, they were pushed off city wall by the surging skeletons. Once city wall is breached, the undead offensive will be unstoppable. The dwarf faction's efforts were in vain in the blink of an eye. The supposedly most fortified dwarf city wall has been completely breached. The undead army poured into the city. As they drew nearer, the city gates were opened, and even more undead rushed in. A fierce street battle ensued with the stubbornly resisting dwarves. But there were too many undead, and their influx into the alley was more like a flood diverting a stream. They instantly toppled all the defensive fortifications and retreated into the city, pushing back the dwarves. They kept retreating and kept fighting. The city gradually quieted down only after they stormed the palace. Soft sobs and painful groans echoed in every corner of the city. At the same time, Dong Jiue arranged for several dwarves to enter the city. He weaved through the city's alleyways, shouting, "Don't pick up the weapons. As long as you don't resist, you'll be safe." Whoosh! Snap! A bullet flew from the second-floor window toward the shouting dwarf. The dwarf fell off his horse and shakily touched his head. "My head is fine." With a casual swipe, half an ear appeared in the palm of his hand. The dwarf swallowed hard, a surge of anger rising within him. "Charge in. Kill the people on the second floor. Hurry." The skeleton entered the room and killed the dwarf who had ambushed him. Gray Iron City gradually fell silent. The city's streets and alleys were filled with undead skeletons, who stood silently on the streets like statues. Only the occasional dwarf passing by loudly proclaimed the slogan that those who surrendered would not be killed. In the royal palace, Dong Jiayue sat on the luxurious throne, coldly looking down at the dwarf minister who had been brought before him. Balurga, who was previously the heir to the throne, gave very clear opinions on who should be in the high command. Only then did these dwarves learn of the existence of Balurga in the undead race. "How's the rescue of Warehouse and the database going?" Dong Jiayue asked with a grim expression. "These dwarves are really ruthless. Upon entering, I saw 2 places engulfed in flames." Dong Jiayue immediately arranged for people to put out the fire, but given the intensity of the fire, it was unlikely that much could be saved. At this moment, a human guard reported softly, "Sir, the fire is still being put out. The fire mainly hits the data warehouse and equipment warehouse. We can confirm that the warehouse and granary are not in danger." Upon hearing this news, Dong Jiayue breathed a sigh of relief. Thankfully, granary is all right. Otherwise, if we take over Gray Iron City this winter, those who surrender will become a burden. They either kill people to reduce their consumption, or they have to support these people through the winter themselves. Now that everything is fine, I've been free of a source of worry. Yes, arrange for more people to fight the fire. We must bring the fire under control tonight. Dong Jiayue continued to instruct. "I understand, sir." Soldiers stepped back, and Dong Jiayue landed back on the group of dwarves below. "Here, there are several heroes who were previously high-ranking members of the dwarves," he said coldly. "This war was started when you plundered the transmigrators. At that time, you were in a superior position and didn't care about the life or death of the transmigrators. Now the situation is exactly the opposite. So blame your greed and blame your King Rune for leading you in the wrong direction." The dwarves kneeling on the ground simply lowered their heads and remained silent. Dong Jiayue didn't waste any more words with them and directly ordered, "Put them all in jail. Anyone who tries to contact outsiders, kill them on the spot." "Yes, sir." The dwarf prisoners were taken away. Dong Jiayue continued, "Balurga, you are familiar with this place. Take your men and immediately take control of the remaining troops. We can't let them cause any trouble." "Yes." Balurga left. After explaining everything, Dong Jiayue opened the Lord's book and sent a message to Fang Hao. The next day, early morning, after getting up and washing up, Fang Hao, with the help of Aaron Xiaobai, put on his aristocratic formal attire. Wearing a sharp suit immediately makes one appear more dignified and noble. "Last night, I received a message from Dong Jiayue. I learned that they have already acquired Gray Iron City." Fang Hao was naturally delighted by this news. Today is the day he, as the leader, will go to Gray Iron City to conquer the city and reward his men. Wait until the last knot is tied. Both women smiled with satisfaction. "It looks really good," Xiaobai complimented. Fang Hao gently pinched her cheek and strode out of the room. Inside the hall on the first floor, Dimitrika and Njia have been waiting for a long time. Fang Hao glanced at the time, 727. Then release the teleportation light screen and head to Gray Iron City. The three of them stepped into the light curtain. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself in a magnificent palace. Underfoot is a luxurious, soft carpet, and the walls are made of gleaming marble. Even the curtains on the windows are clearly made of high-quality silk. Is this dwarf rich or poor? They were stingy when it came to compensation. But look at this palace. It's far more luxurious than their own. It has a modern decorative aesthetic. Grown-ups. As soon as Fang Hao started performing, everyone around him immediately bowed in respect. Even Dong Jiayue, who always called him Brother Hao, bowed and saluted along with him, especially the group of transmigrators behind Dong Jiayue. While bowing, he secretly sized up the renowned Master Fang Hao. 3 heads and 6 arms, Special Forces soldier, genetic mutation. Huh? There was nothing there, just a rather handsome young man. No, he looks really cool. What kind of makeup is he using? His skin seems to be glowing. Everyone, please stand up. You are all heroes in this war, Fang Hao said loudly. Then, he walked up to the throne above and sat down. He said to Dong Jiayue, Jiayue, give a brief explanation of the situation. Okay. Dong Jiayue stepped forward and said loudly, the residents of Gray Iron City were not disturbed and are all hiding in their homes. The remaining troops have been brought under the command and control of Belerga. In addition, 372 dwarf officials were captured. The data warehouse and gunpowder warehouse were burned down, causing some explosions. The granary and ordinary goods storage warehouse were not affected. Taking a deep breath, he said, we arrested 42 members of the royal family, seized 122 chests of coins and jewelry, 1 platinum treasure chest, 12 golden treasure chests, and 18 silver treasure chests. After Dong Jiayue finished speaking, everyone's breathing became heavier. For Fang Hao and the other heroes, these resources and treasure chests meant nothing. But for Dong Jiayue and the other transmigrators, these treasure chests alone were enough to surprise them. Sure enough, above the silver treasure chest was gold, and there was even a platinum-level treasure chest. Regardless of whether he opens treasure chests or not, this news alone is enough to brag about in the channel for half a month. The medical equipment database was burned. Fang Hao's brows furrowed instantly. Dong Jiayue nodded and said, when the dwarves saw that city wall could not be defended, they directly ordered the burning of the database and weapons database. They originally planned to burn down the other warehouses as well, but disagreements arose among the dwarves, and the plan failed. Goodness, that's really ruthless. Burning granary would mean that all the dwarves in the city would die along with the city. Even if they managed to capture a city, the victors may find themselves without food. That way, too many prisoners won't be left behind, increasing the cost of resources. It's nothing, Fang Hao said softly. The blueprint for the equipment may have been destroyed, but with the treasure chest and the capture of a large number of dwarves, it shouldn't be difficult to get the blueprint back. It's just not as convenient as the equipment storage room. Afterwards, he explained the special circumstances to the other heroes present. Fang Hao then held an award ceremony. For him, capturing Gray Iron City was expected, but after winning the battle, he still needed to celebrate. In particular, it is important to show recognition for the heroes and transmigrators who participated in the campaign. The banquet began at 9 o'clock, and all the heroes and transmigrators who participated in the battle were present. In addition, some local dwarf nobles who were willing to accept the rule of Fang Hao and others also gathered there. The melodious music made no trace of the aftermath of the recent battle. Before the banquet officially began, Fang Hao gave a brief opening speech before getting straight to the point. The generals who commanded effectively in this battle, as well as the soldiers who performed bravely, were commended. Dong Jiayue, as the commander appointed by Fang Hao, performed exceptionally well despite being only in his early 20s. They are decisive in handling matters and are also willing to listen to the opinions of others. Although the battle was not ended before winter arrived, he still demonstrated excellent leadership skills. As one of the few good friends in this world, Fang Hao, of course, wouldn't be stingy. He shouted, Dong Jiayue deserves the greatest credit. All the transmigrators rescued this time will be assigned to Dong Jiayue's command. A reward of 10,000 Warfire coins will be given. 200 temple guard sets will be used to fund your city's construction after the new year. Upon hearing about the reward, Dong Jiayue was instantly overjoyed. The dwarves have captured quite a few transmigrators, and she will eventually take control of them all. In that case, Her territory and power will surpass those of Zhang Bin and Fu Lei. The remaining Warfire coin and purple set were less appealing to her. She has the right to use the Undead station nearby, and these 200 equipment items are of little help to her. At most, it's like a personal guard for equipment, protecting its own safety. It would be good to fund the development of one's own city after the new year, as it can accelerate the development of one's own city. I quickly went through it in my mind. He stepped forward and said loudly, "Thank you, sir." After Dong Jieyue, Fang Hao continued to reward a group of heroes. The rewards given to heroes are mainly Warfire coins, along with some equipment and living conditions. After all, there's really nothing to reward the undead, especially since most of them are undead heroes. The transmigrators below were already getting a little restless after the previous praise. They huddled together, whispering among themselves, "Wow, that's a lot of money. Jieyue is rich. Money is nothing. It's 200 purple sets. There's only one purple set in the channel right now. Equipment is incredibly expensive. Even choosing a wife is like choosing a concubine." Men, absolutely. I don't like the ones on the channel. I think Xiaolan is pretty good. Get lost, old man. After the heroes were rewarded one by one, it was finally the turn of the transmigrators below. Everyone fell silent, their eyes filled with anticipation as they looked up at Master Fang Hao. A short while later, Fang Hao's voice rang out. He announced loudly, "The transmigrators played a crucial role in this battle. Each of them will receive 1,000 Warfire coins, 20 pieces of purple armor, command of 20,000 undead skeletons, and financial support for your city next year." Wow. In an instant, the transmigrators became excited. Not only does the purple set actually exist, but there are also 20,000 undead skeletons. 20,000. And that's for a troop type that doesn't need to eat or sleep. Whether for defense or for adventure, one's own strength increases several times over. Seeing how excited the transmigrators below were, Fang Hao smiled. "Surely not. We've witnessed the scale of millions of dead." After the awards ceremony ended, Fang Hao waved his hand, and the music started again. The banquet has officially begun. Delicious dishes were served, and everyone began to move around freely, enjoying the food. It only lasted a moment. The surrendered dwarf nobles immediately gathered around. They surrounded Dong Jieyue and Belerga, showering them with flattery and ingratiation. "I hope to receive better treatment in Grey Iron City in the future." The dwarves never imagined that Belerga, whom they had driven out of Grey Iron City, would return in such a crazy way. To regain control of Grey Iron City, transmigrators thoroughly enjoyed the delicious food and wine on the table and had a wonderful time. No one bothered them, so they just kept eating. These dwarves are really audacious. The city has just fallen, and they're already trying to curry favor with Sister Jieyue, Yang Xiaolan said while eating. "Yesterday, I heard Belerga say that the city's top nobles have all fled through various means. The rest are just ordinary nobles. What can they do if they can't escape? If they don't curry favor with them, are they just waiting to be executed? Are you kidding? We've sealed off the city. How can we escape? You wouldn't know this, but for example, using the Alliance's teleportation array or teleportation scroll, it's no problem to send several people on a single page. So, all the powerful people in the city have fled. There are probably only a few top-tier ones." Inside the hall, people chatted in small groups. Fang Hao did not stay at the banquet, but instead led a group of undead heroes to the palace's back garden. The flowers and plants in the garden had withered, and in the empty center, piles of treasure chests and spoils of war were placed. Hero Spencer said softly, "My lord, these are spoils of war. Apart from a few dwarven nobles who escaped, we did not harass any other dwarves." "Okay." Fang Hao nodded. His gaze fell upon the spoils of war, treasure chests filled with gold, silver, jewels, and various precious artifacts. A total of 122 boxes. Entering the backyard was like entering a gold mine. Everything was golden. These dwarves, as expected, didn't spare any resources when it came to paying reparations. Fang Hao's gaze fell upon it. Rows of numbers then appeared. Warfire card, 5 million each, 7 million each. Warfire coin, for 20,000. Dwarven Redbeard gold, 2.5 million. Gold and silver utensils, 3,200 pieces. Jewelry, 20,000 pieces. Wow, they're really rich. Redbeard gold is the currency used by the dwarves. Because the king's portrait on the front of the coin is mostly covered by a beard, and the gold coin has a reddish hue, it was named Redbeard gold. The dwarves have always been skilled in forging, and their exchange rate with warfire coins is 2 to 1. 2 red-bearded gold coins are equivalent to 1 warfire coin. It retains its value quite well. As the main city of a powerful force, it yielded quite a few looted items. These do not include the items in the dwarf's warehouse. After all, Grey Iron City itself still needs to function, and if Fang Hao takes everything away, then it will become a dead city. Even so, after looting the palace and some escaped dwarf nobles, they already had this much money. Looking at the pile of treasures, Fang Hao was somewhat puzzled about how to take them with him. The storage space is full. It seems we'll have to open several more portals to transport all of this back. Let's not worry about it for now. We'll deal with it later. Fang Hao continued to the area containing the treasure chest. The treasure chests were also stacked together. 1 platinum treasure chest, 12 golden treasure chests, and 18 silver treasure chests. There are quite a few. As Fang Hao stepped forward, he asked, "Didn't you say there were only 12 fortresses? How come there are so many treasure chests?" Spencer explained softly. There were many outposts and camps established by the dwarves along the way, which Miss Dong Jiue conquered in one fell swoop. "Oh, now I understand, Fang Hao. So that's how the treasure chest came about." But Fang Hao didn't expect Dong Jiue to be so sensible, not opening a single treasure chest and saving them for herself. But the golden treasure chest and the silver treasure chest no longer held any appeal for him. When it comes to raiding bandit strongholds in various places and organizing temporary camps, they are the ones who open the treasure chests themselves. Fang Hao never gets involved. If the platinum treasure chest can open the blueprint he needs in one go, the remaining gold and silver can then be awarded to the transmigrators. After all, most people rarely have the opportunity to obtain the golden treasure chest. If the rewards from the platinum treasure chest aren't very good, then let's continue opening the gold mines and leave the silver to them. Fang Hao arrived at the platinum treasure chest. Open it directly. Suddenly, beams of light appeared, dazzling the eyes. Gains: crafting and forge statue blueprint, 5. Barrel organ cannon blueprint, orange. Gray iron bulwark city wall upgrade blueprint, purple. Dwarven white titanium defender helmets blueprint, blue. Dwarven white titanium defender chestplate blueprint, blue. Dwarven white titanium defender armguards blueprint, blue. Dwarven white titanium defender boots blueprint, blue. Dwarven defender battle axe blueprint, blue. Dwarven garden ground lamp blueprint, blue. Hero. Recruitment scroll, purple. Gray iron stone 352. Warfire coin 785. Kindness. A huge pile of blueprints. And I seem to see a glimmer of orange light. Holding all the blueprints in his hands, Fang Hao began to examine them one by one. Craftsmanship and furnace statue. Wood 550. Stone 1500. Natural gem 5. Mana essence 2. Traces of prayer 2. Description: craftsmanship and the god of the hearth fire will bless this land, greatly enhancing crafting and forging techniques. It seems to be a statue of the dwarven faith. The pantheon was built in the main city, which can hold all the statues. The increased crafting and forging capabilities are also a good thing for the development of the territory. Check the second item. Level 1 Gray Iron City Wall. 500 cast iron blocks. 150 fine iron ingots. 200 metal parts. 1 perfect essence. Description: this method can be used to reinforce existing walls with mortar. The required materials increase with the wall grade. This is a pretty good blueprint. The dwarves' defensive wall was something that Dong Jiue and his group had been attacking for several days without being able to breach. Its sturdiness is simply terrifying. If it were any other power, such a large consumption of gunpowder would probably have leveled the city. Now that the blueprint is in our possession, we can reinforce all the cities. Better defense against external enemies. Add blueprint to your favorites and continue reading. 5-barrel organ cannon blueprint. Orange tough wood 300. Fine iron 500. Fine iron ingot 150. White steel plate 100. White steel ingot 80. Precision parts 15. Hurricane traces 3. Essence of destruction 3. Description: an upgraded version of the quad-barreled organ cannon, with powerful firepower, capable of wiping out an entire enemy force in a single volley. Sure enough, the dwarves' firearms appeared, and it's orange. Blueprint: this is far superior to the first-generation field cannon I got. This is considered top of the line among dwarven firearms. It can be said that the gray iron barrier and organ cannon, these two blueprints alone, have elevated the territory's strength to a whole new level. Platinum treasure chest. That's wonderful. After that, it was all blue. Blueprint. The Dwarf White Titanium Defensive Set is a blue set designed to fit the dwarf's physique and provides level 3 defensive armor. The accompanying attribute Unyielding allows the user to quickly recover their stamina and rejoin the battle. Dwarven Defensive Battle Axe is also blue. Blueprint, which does not include the defensive set, has level 3 attack power. It has a 5% shield breaking effect. Dwarf Guarding Ground Light. Cast Iron Block 80, Metal Parts 50, Glass Lampshade 1. Description: ground lights that can illuminate roads and also add a certain atmosphere. It's just a street lamp, nothing special. Finally, there's a hero recruitment scroll, purple in color, which you can use to recruit a new hero. All blueprints are included. Fang Hao felt a sense of resentment, although I received an orange instrument blueprint. But this is just one of the many machines the dwarves possess. He hasn't obtained the others yet. If you had to say what you wanted most after conquering the dwarf city, that would be, it was not a city, nor a hero, but the blueprint, a long-renowned dwarven instrument. With hundredfold amplification at his disposal, Blueprint can be maximized. Unfortunately, the dwarf got angry and burned down his own armory. Even the database was burned to the ground. Now, the only way for him to obtain blueprints is through these treasure chests. Their gazes fell once again on the remaining treasure chests. He originally intended to reward Dong Jieyue and several transmigrators with these golden treasure chests and silver treasure chests. It seems like I should just drive it myself. The 12 golden treasure chests opened one after another. The light reappeared. Obtained. Dwarven Stainless Steel Short Gun Blueprint, green. Leather-handled stainless steel or pickaxe blueprint, blue. Hardwood ammunition box blueprint, green. Gilded large vase *2. Gray ironstone 75. Warfire coin, 202. Obtained. Mithril-handled double-edged axe crafting blueprint, purple. Iron sand bullet crafting blueprint, green. Dwarven table crafting blueprint, green. Gray ironstone 89. Warfire coin, 228. Received. Cannonball crafting blueprint, blue. Stainless steel rail crafting blueprint, blue. Dwarven black iron warblade crafting blueprint, green. 101 gray iron ore, 245 warfire coins. Received. Green forest pistol, crafted blueprint. Giant horn deer saddle, crafted blueprint. Pheasant lure X5. Gray iron stone 95. Warfire coin 202. Obtained. Dwarven cannon crafting blueprint, purple. Dwarven thick boots crafting blueprint, green. Ishgardian double bathroom crafting blueprint, green. Dwarven bookshelf crafting blueprint, green. 121 gray ironstone, 217 warfire coins. Obtained. Blueprint for Valiant short gun, blue. Blueprint for hardwood small firearm ammunition box, green. Silver beard clip *1. Dwarven carved screen, 150 by 70. Gray ironstone 175. Warfire coin, 321. Obtained. Leather-handled stainless steel sickle, blueprint. Ivy-covered white arch bridge, blueprint. Hardwood lifting machine, blueprint. Greenwood fire gun *1. Silver-rimmed painted narrow-mouthed vase *2. Gray ironstone 146. Warfire coin 275. Received. Fiery furnace blueprint, purple. Ilmeg garden fountain blueprint, green. Antlered copper bell *2. Stainless steel kitchen knife *1. Dwarven white jade marble slab *15. Gray iron stone 121. Warfire coin 245. Obtained. Windbreaker spear anti-air ballista blueprint, purple. White steel minecart blueprint, blue. Black iron single-edged axe blueprint, green. Deer antler goblet *5. Gray iron stone 89. Warfire coin 299. Obtained. Dwarven thick tough breastplate, blueprint. Dwarven iron spiked boots, blueprint. Giant horn deer *5. Golden headband *1. Hard leather holster *1. Gray iron, 93. Warfire coin 274. Obtained. Dwarven destroyer armor crafting blueprint, blue. Mithril small round shield crafting blueprint, blue. Mining goggles *2. Organ cannon bullets *24. Steel bullets *50. Gray ironstone 78. Warfire coin 248. Obtained. Dwarven monocular telescope crafting blueprint, blue. Anti-air crossbow crafting blueprint, blue. Dwarven fine iron warblade crafting blueprint, blue. Gold Ruby Beard Clip *5, Silver Windmill *1, Cannonballs *12, Dwarven Carved Bookshelf *1, Gray Iron Stone 102, Warfire Coin 300. Splash. After opening everything, Fang Hao immediately regretted it. The spacious backyard instantly became cluttered, with the ground covered with various blueprints. Interspersed among them were vases, bookshelves, boxes of artillery shells, a jumble of random characters, and several bewildered giant horned deers gnawing on the withered flowers. Good heavens, this is a complete mess. Fang Hao reviewed the records again, and a surge of joy rose in his heart once more. The loot from the 12 golden treasure chests really made up for the items that weren't found in the platinum treasure chests. Fang Hao ignored the green and blue blueprints for the time being and focused his attention on the purple blueprints and items. Mithril handled double-edged axe, tough leather 1, cast iron block 72, fine iron 5, mithril 5. Description: a double-bladed axe with a spiked handle, commonly used by dwarves, that inflicts additional ripping damage in addition to normal slashing and thrusting attacks. A battle axe used by dwarves. With the added effect of cleavage, it's a pretty good dwarf weapons. They can be equipped by dwarves or used as throwing axes by skeleton ogres. However, these weapons consume fine iron and mithril. Littering everywhere will make recycling difficult and cause problems later. Let's continue. Dwarven Cannon. Iron 550, cast iron block 280, fine iron 50, metal parts 85, precision parts 15, essence of destruction 2. Description: a cannon that has been improved many times by the dwarves, making it more stable and convenient, while also possessing greater destructive power. Fang Hao was overjoyed to see the reward. Sure enough, I found a cannon blueprint in the golden treasure chest. Among the finished products captured by Dong Jiayue were cannons. Compared to the Generation 1 field cannon, created by Fang Hao, it is smaller and more convenient. It can be set up on top of walls as a defensive device, or it can be equipped with wheels and pulled out to provide fire support in the field. It is powerful but small in size. This is the most distinctive feature of cannons. Simply adding these cannons to the walls will multiply the defensive capabilities. Flaming Furnace. 1,200 stone bricks, 800 fine stone bricks, 520 cast iron block, 120 fine iron, 1,500 metal parts, 3 crimson flame essence, 2 traces of wind, 5 gray iron stones. Description: a massive furnace built by the dwarves, the blazing furnace, which handles 80% of their forging work. Blueprint: the purple furnace. Boffing Mountain, with only one orange mountain belly furnace, is hardly capable of supporting the entire race. The blazing furnace undertook most of the forging work. It can be considered an upgraded version of the furnace. Windbreaker Anti-Air Ballista. Tough Wood 850, Ironwood 520, Cast Iron Block 220, Metal Parts 800, Precision Parts 200, Hurricane Traces 2. Description: the repeating ballista made by the dwarves, with its immense power and rapid fire rate, even made dragons wary. The last purple blueprint, still a dwarf machine. This made Fang Hao feel more at peace. Fang Hao has acquired at least all of the most effective instruments. As for the other blueprints that were burned, they're gone and that's that. It's not such a big loss. Includes all blueprints. Beams of light instantly entered the Lord's book. The giant horned deer, who was munching on dry grass nearby, was startled and ran away to a distance to continue eating dry branches. This time, Fang Hao obtained 3 dwarven machines, 5-barrel organ cannon, and windbreaker anti-air ballista. At the same time, the blueprints for these 3 types of ammunition were also unlocked. In the future, whenever needed, Fang Hao can mass-produce equipment and shells to arm the army. Let the enemy truly realize what it means to be righteous within range. Besides these 3 instruments, the leather handle steel or blueprint, steel or rail, and steel minecart you obtain are all very useful blueprints. It can significantly increase mining efficiency. Then, it can be distributed to various mine programs. Fang Hao is also quite interested in the blueprints for the heroic short gun and the dwarf monocular telescope. The heroic short gun, and one finished product. It belongs to the short-handled fire gun category, which is the shape of a handgun. The bright silver material sparkles, and the surface is engraved with floral patterns, making it exquisite and beautiful. It looks like a work of art, but after fiddling with it for a while, Fang Hao lost interest This short-handled fire gun was only good as a craft item. During combat, the reload speed is extremely slow after firing a shot. If the enemy is not dead, you must draw your sword and go up to check. As for the rest of the blueprints, Fang Hao wasn't very interested. These are all items used by dwarves, and I don't need them myself right now. I had someone clean up the backyard. At that moment, Dimitrika walked over. My lord, Miss Dong Jiayue and Lady Amanda have arrived. The banquet in the hall continued. Fang Hao was curious about what the two women wanted from her. Seeing that the backyard was almost cleaned up and giant horned deer had been led away, he nodded and said, "Let them come over." Yes. A short while later, Dimitrika returned. Following them were Dong Jiayue, Amanda, and a giant gold nugget that the human militia had pulled in using a flatbed cart. A head peeked out from one side of the gold nugget. She was a woman with a beautiful face, purple eyes, pointed ears, and light purple skin. Fang Hao was startled, thinking the gold nugget had grown a head. But soon I saw the other party's attribute name. Shadow Assassin, Morse, Purple Tier 3 Hero. What's going on? Fang Hao asked curiously, looking at the flatbed cart that had been pushed in front of him. The person on the flatbed cart had long black hair, a small face, deep purple eyes, and pointed ears peeking out from under the hair. The most distinctive feature is her light purple skin. It does bear some resemblance to the elven race described in historical records. Legend has it that all the men and women in the elven race are exceptionally beautiful. Rebecca, possessing half-elf blood, was already considered one of the Federation's top beauties. However, her skin was a pale purple. It shouldn't be poisoning. Morse, who was held in place by the gold nugget, glanced at him sideways before weakly lying back down. He looked like he had already resigned himself to his fate. Dong Jiayue spoke first, saying, "She was a prisoner we captured. During the attack on the dwarves, she came to camp to assassinate me, but failed and was captured by Queen Amanda. Then she was sent to assassinate Rune. It was because of her successful assassination that problems arose within Grey Iron City, allowing us to conquer Grey Iron City in one fell swoop." Ah, it's her. Last night, Dong Jiayue gave a general overview of the siege. They also knew that an assassin had been arranged to kill Rune, which caused chaos within Grey Iron City, allowing the undead to take over the city. Unexpectedly, it was the assassins hired by Rune who turned the tables and tried to kill Rune. They could come up with this idea too. So what's going on now? Fang Hao was a little confused about the intentions of these two women. If she helped them kill Rune, why is she still bound by the huge gold nugget? Moreover, the person looked half dead, as if they could die at any moment. Amanda answered Fang Hao's question. His tone was as calm as ever, revealing no emotional fluctuations. I promised her I would help her break the contract and serve the territory. Kindness. What a great thing. Let's recruit heroes for our territory. No, just let me go, sob. Morse, lying on the flatbed cart, only got halfway through his sentence. The golden liquid turned into a golden ball and blocked her mouth. He shut her down completely. This sudden movement nearly suffocated Morse, causing him to roll his eyes back. Fang Hao asked curiously, "Can we break her contract?" He understood the contract. A slave contract is a type of rule-based contract. Once signed, it's like a contract of servitude. Unless the master agrees, the other party will be bound forever. But it seems that no one else can intervene to terminate the contract. Amanda replied, "The contract she has is to keep a secret. This contract can be broken. Necromancer has the ability to deceive death, so she can bypass the contract. Of course, there is a price to pay. The required materials are quite expensive, and she will be weak for a period of time after the contract is broken. The power of a contract is attached to the soul. The ability to deceive death is a skill that targets the soul. According to Amanda, she could help her break the contract. In that case, Nielsen can do it." Fang Hao nodded. At the same time, his gaze fell upon the purple woman on the flatbed cart. He asked softly, "According to your agreement with Amanda, you will be working for the territory from now on." Wah! The woman in purple stared wide-eyed, muttering something under her breath. It seemed as if they were trying their best to express something. But Amanda never took the metal ball out of her mouth, nor could she understand what Amanda was trying to say. Fang Hao didn't try to figure out what she was trying to say, and nodded, saying, "Then when we go back, let's take her back with us." Meanwhile, Dong Jiayue stared at Fang Hao with her bright, expectant eyes. His eyes revealed a longing and anticipation. She and Amanda captured the people, and although they had quite a few transmigrators, they didn't have a single hero yet. This assassination attempt made her realize the importance of heroes. It can save your life in a critical moment. Looking at Fang Hao's side, heroes are everywhere. Now, the blue and green heroes are completely disregarded, and their positions in the team are more like squad leaders. Comparing yourself to others will only make you miserable. Fang Hao was taken aback when he saw her expression, but then he understood what Dong Jieyue meant. Well, I already have enough heroes at my disposal, and Dong Jieyue's territory is expanding, so she should have someone protecting her safety. He patted her head and said, "These captured heroes have very low loyalty after being recruited, so they're not reliable. You can use this purple recruitment scroll later, and you'll have your own hero." He handed her the purple recruitment voucher he had just obtained. Yeah, Dong Jieyue clenched her fist and excitedly accepted the recruitment notice. At the same time, Fang Hao continued, "There are 18 silver treasure chests here, as well as these vases, bookshelves, and so on. They're all yours to treat your men to a good reward." Understood. Thank you, Brother Hao. Dong Jieyue was overjoyed. She also considered whether she should reward her men afterward, since they had come out to fight with her in the dead of winter. I didn't even know what reward I would receive before. Now this thing is here. It was a little after 2 p.m. The banquet in the royal palace has ended. The local dwarves left, and several transmigrators were taken away by Dong Jieyue to receive individual rewards. Fang Hao returned to the empty palace. He went straight to sit on the king's throne. The moment he sat down, a system notification appeared before him. Gray Iron City has become your subordinate city. You can rename the city here. You have control over 12 subordinate cities and 18 fortress camps. The dwarf population is indeed small. This is the main city, and the subordinate cities are only this many. Gray Iron City. City tier, level 15 original city. Attributes: firearms manufacturing plus 30%, machinery research plus 25%, metallurgy/forging plus 25%, mining plus 30%, dwarf propagation plus 25%. Description: a city with attributes that can bring various beneficial effects, accelerating the city's construction and development. The Dwarven City is also level 15. It is at the same level as Silverwing City, and the city gains more attributes than ordinary cities, especially in the areas of equipment research and development and metallurgy and forging. That's a pretty good attribute. Unlock blueprints: Ancestral Altar, Precision Factory, Giant Horn Deer Corridor, Tea Roasting Workshop, Armory, Weaponry Research Institute. There are also quite a few blueprints that come with unlocking the city. Ancestral Altar. Category: Special Buildings. Ability: Priest. Sacrifice: Dwarves can receive ancestral blessings through sacrifices. Race restriction: Dwarves. Description: Ancestors will always protect their descendants. Construction requirements: 1,200 tough wood, 2,500 stone bricks, 850 iron, 5 traces of prayer, 1 traces of divinity, 1 perfect essence. A sacrificial altar, but with racial restrictions. In other words, it only protects dwarves. It has no effect on other races. They don't care about you, so don't try to establish connections with them. Precision Factory. Category: Special Buildings. Description: the factory is equipped with lathes, which can produce relatively precise products. Construction requirements: 1,200 stone bricks, 1,000 cast iron blocks, 220 fine iron, 1,500 metal parts, 850 precision parts. The lathe factory, where precision parts of machinery are produced, is where lathes and similar machines are manufactured. Giant Horn Deer Promenade. Tough wood 1,500, stone bricks 1,800, metal parts 520. Tea Roasting Workshop. Wood 2,250, stone 1,800, hemp rope 1,200, leather 800, metal parts 1,580. Armory. Tough wood 2,200, fine stone bricks 3,500, metal parts 2,550. None of the 3 blueprints offer any special bonuses. The armory should be a separate warehouse for storing military equipment, and there was no special implementation of it. There's only 1 blueprint left. Medical Device Research Institute. Category: Special Buildings. Effect: Inspiration, Focus. Inspiration: enhance the inspiration of R&D personnel. Focus: to enable R&D personnel to be more focused during the R&D process. Description: buildings that undertook significant research and development. Fang Hao has read all of the blueprints. The results were quite satisfactory. The equipment I wanted was obtained from a treasure chest. Gray Iron City. another level 15 city. It can be said that the gains were considerable. Moreover, after Boffing Mountain was occupied, the shape of their territory became more like a concave shape. It encompasses the Federation of Humanity. To the north of the human city lies its main city, and to the west lies Boffing Mountain. Once a conflict occurs, it can be attacked from both sides, leading to even greater oppression of humanity. Fang Hao sat on the throne, experiencing what it truly felt like to be a king. "My lord, someone wishes to see you," a dwarf guard announced as he entered. The guards in the palace are now under the control of Balurga's men. From now on, Grey Iron City will also be managed by Balurga. "Let them in," Fang Hao said. Shortly after, two unfamiliar transmigrators strode in. They kept their heads down, looking somewhat reserved. He was holding a huge sheet of paper in his arms. As soon as they entered, before Fang Hao could even speak, the two of them knelt down with a thud. "Greetings, Master Fang Hao. Thank you for rescuing us." "Oh, it startled me." "No need for that. Get up and sit down to talk," Fang Hao said immediately. The two glanced at it carefully, then stood up and sat down to the side. When sitting, he only sits on the edge of the chair with half of his bottom on it, looking very careful. Fang Hao observed the two men. One was in his 40s, and the other was in his 20s. Both of them looked rather disheveled, covered in dust and dirt, as if they had just returned from the mine. Seeing that the two did not speak, Fang Hao asked, "What do you want from me? Don't worry about me anymore. You can go back to your own cities and continue to manage them." The two exchanged a glance. They hurriedly said, "Boss, we'd like to show you this. The dwarves asked us to design this, and it's almost finished." After the man in his 40s finished speaking, he stepped forward with the blueprint in his hand. But Dimitrika stopped him, took the blueprint, and handed it to Fang Hao. Fang Hao had noticed the paper in his hand long ago. He opened it with a puzzled look, but his brows furrowed suddenly. Revolver pistol. The blueprint contains various parts, and also includes complete diagrams. It was none other than the revolver pistol seen in the modern world. The dwarves are actually researching this. Fang Hao immediately guessed the identities of the two. The bolt-action rifle, you improved it for the dwarves? Thump. Upon hearing Fang Hao's words, the two of them knelt heavily on the ground once again. The man in his 40s explained with a mournful expression, "It was done by the dwarves. I didn't want this to happen either. I didn't want it to happen." The man in his 40s is called Chao Junming, and the younger one is called Miao Chao. Chao Junming didn't know much about professional weapons manufacturing, but when he was abroad, he worked at firing range and had some experience with gun repair. "Having traveled to this place, I wanted to use my skills to make a better life among the dwarves." A solution for tethering the rifle was provided to the dwarves, and it was taken seriously by them. Miao Chao was much simpler. He was good at data analysis and drawing, and helped Chao Junming calibrate dimensions and create blueprints. I was brought along by Chao Junming this time, partly because I felt I was being dragged into it. Fang Hao looked at the two people below, but he didn't know their past. There are many examples of transmigrators using their knowledge to curry favor with the original authors and their powerful figures. Actually, there are reasons for it. But this is truly the first time that such a large impact has led the dwarves to resort to violence to capture transmigrators. "All right, sit down and let's talk." Fang Hao didn't intend to pursue the matter further. Thank you. Chao Junming hurriedly expressed his gratitude and sat down again. Fang Hao continued, "So, what's your intention in bringing the blueprint here?" Chao Junming glanced at it with his small eyes. "Master Fang Hao, the revolver's blueprint is almost finished. I want to create it to increase your strength. Just as I expected, guns. It will become widespread in the world sooner or later. The number of transmigrators is actually quite large, especially those who understand guns, particularly in places like overseas where guns are not prohibited. There are probably quite a few people who know about firearms." Chao Junming was able to create the bolted rifle ahead of time by utilizing the craftsmanship of the dwarves. Other types of firearms will likely be manufactured in succession. If the revolver is ever made, it will definitely replace the ordinary short-barreled fire gun. For the military, the rifle is still more useful. The effect of a pistol is personal safety. Yes, the research institute in Grey Iron City will be rebuilt, and you can continue to improve revolver, Fang Hao said directly. Chao Junming's expression didn't change much, suggesting he had already anticipated this outcome. He continued, "Master Fang Hao, what kind of treatment will I receive?" Fang Hao scrutinized him carefully. "I have a feeling that Chao Junming is a bit cunning, especially since his eyes keep darting around when he speaks. You don't want your city anymore? Well, The city has been abandoned for too long. I want to settle down here, Chao Junming said. After thinking it over, Fang Hao still made some promises. Here's what I'll do. I'll discuss this with Lord Belerga and give you the same treatment as other R&D staff. If you make any technological breakthroughs, I'll reward you separately. Chao Junming was somewhat disappointed. When he arrived, he saw that a group of transmigrators had been given a large number of items. In particular, there were two people carrying large vases that clearly belonged to the dwarf royal palace. He thought that since he had already taken out the revolver blueprint, he couldn't exchange it for something better. Unfortunately, Fang Hao doesn't seem to have that idea. Having finished their conversation, he could only nod and say, "Thank you, Master Fang Hao." Fang Hao then looked at the young man in his 20s behind him. "Do you also want to settle down in the city?" Miao Chao shook his head. "No, I want to go back and continue developing the city. Boss, I'm good at cartography and mechanical drawing. If there's anything related, I can help you." Miao Chao gives people a very direct impression. "Okay, I've got it. You can go back to the city, and I'll also have Belerga give you a position at the Research Institute. It will be good for you to participate in some research and development." Fang Hao said directly, "Oh, thank you so much, boss." After discussing the issues, the two did not linger and got up to leave the palace. The next day, Fang Hao was accompanied by Belerga. We visited Grey Iron City. The towering king's statue in the city center, in particular, is quite impressive. Unlike the queen's statue, which was made of pure gold, the dwarves' past statues were cast from gray stone and iron. It gives off a heavy industrial vibe. We visited the residential area, the ancestral altar, and the research institute and warehouse, where restoration work has begun. The entire Grey Iron City is gradually returning to order. After passing through the city area, we arrived at the location on the back mountain. On the towering cliff, the huge king statue is carved. The seventh one is Rune, whose carving was stopped halfway through. Looking at the stone carvings on the mountainside reminded Fang Hao of the mountain of statues of the Hokage from Naruto. "My lord, I intend to have your portrait added to the wall as the 8th leader," Belerga said, looking up at the stone wall. "I'll pass. Grey Iron City will be under your control from now on, and you can add your own avatar there." Fang Hao shook his head and refused. He didn't think it was a good thing to have his portrait put on the mountainside. They were pelted with eggs every day and were despised by the dwarves. Belerga, on the contrary, according to his description, the position of king should have been his, but he was driven out by Rune. Belerga's long-held desire has been to reclaim her position. However, when he left, he never imagined that he would be conquering Grey Iron City through the undead, to take back everything that has been lost. Sure enough, when Fang Hao suggested that he have his portrait engraved on it, a system notification appeared. "Ironbeard, Belerga's loyalty to you has increased by 15 points. Current loyalty is 95. Belerga's loyalty level reached 95 points. 5 more points, and we'll reach the maximum value." "Thank you, sir," Belerga said sincerely. The two continued walking through the city with the guards. I also saw the well-preserved granary and various supplies in the warehouse. The dwarves' warehouse mines, in particular, are found in terrifying quantities. There are many types of minerals, such as fine iron, mithril, white titanium, spirit silver, hard steel, and manganese steel. They all have high reserves. The forging furnaces are also part of a large cluster of buildings in the city. It allows for continuous and repeated processing of the ore. However, since the Great Battle had just ended, these furnaces had all been shut down and ceased operation. The buildings are impressive, but there are hardly any people around. Fang Hao inquired about the minerals from Belerga. Belerga also offered an explanation. Bafing Mountain, though large in area, with its 12 fortresses and various camps, cannot fully represent the dwarven cities. Among them are many mining sites, and the villages and camps built there. Bafing Mountain has abundant mineral resources, which is the main reason why dwarves settled here. Grey Iron City's demand for ores and various gems is met by these mines. It is also the main source of income for dwarves. Each year, the equipment sold to various factions sustains the dwarves' expenses. The war is now over. Belerga has already sent people to inform the mines that Belerga has become the new owner. These mines themselves have little military strength, so they are not afraid of any resistance from them. Even if they resist, Grey Iron City will cut off their food supply, and they won't survive in the dead of winter. The two walked and talked. Then he walked back to the palace. Just then, they saw Dong Jieyue directing his men to make the final adjustments. Everything is over, and they're going back to the city to hibernate. Beside Dong Jiayue were two troll heroes, each about 5 meters tall and with dark skin. Its enormous size made it look like a terrifying monster in the dwarf city. He carried a huge double-edged axe on his back and wore armor covered in battle scars. They sat on the ground and loaded the goods onto the carriage one by one. The way he handled things so gently and the intelligent look in his eyes didn't seem very smart. It seems the recruitment coupon I gave her yesterday was used. A troll-type hero has been recruited. Jiayue, Fang Hao called out. Dong Jiayue turned around and saw Fang Hao. She ran over and first teased Red General on Njia's shoulder. After being swatted away by a wing, he asked, "Brother Hao, what are your instructions?" "No instructions, just ask you about Chao Junming and Miao Chao," Fang Hao said. Dong Jiayue was taken aback. "I know them. What's wrong?" "The two of them came to me yesterday with the blueprint. Chao Junming wants to stay in the city and doesn't plan to return to his own city." "What kind of people are they?" Fang Hao shared his thoughts. Upon hearing Fang Hao's words, Dong Jiayue's expression also turned somewhat unpleasant. She is now in charge of managing all the transmigrators here. These two bypassed her and went to find Fang Hao themselves with the blueprint. This made her feel very bad. After thinking for a moment, he said, "Chao Junming has a bad reputation. I heard from the rescued transmigrators that Chao Junming already considers himself a dwarf. He was the one who gave the dwarf some bad ideas, and he even forced female transmigrators. Miao Chao is an ordinary person. He is Chao Junming's helper. He rarely speaks and has nothing special about him." Fang Hao nodded, indicating that he understood. "I've arranged for him to work at the research institute, and I'll have Belerga keep an eye on him." "Oh, right. What blueprint did he bring when he came to see you?" Dong Jiayue breathed on her palm. "Revolver gun." "Revolver? No wonder. This guy is quite talented. Let's let him do his research." Fang Hao smiled and continued. "You have more and more people under you now. Find out what their special skills are. We need to recruit more talent. Indeed, if we bring transmigrators together, development will definitely be rapid." Dong Jiayue agreed with this. "Okay, if anything comes up, contact me through Lord's book. Be careful on your way back." "Okay." Dong Jiayue agreed and turned to run back to her team. A group of transmigrators surrounded Master Fang Hao, asking if there was another mission. Fang Hao stayed in Grey Iron City for 2 days. He then used teleportation to return to the city. After greeting Air and the stationed heroes, Fang Hao began constructing the buildings he had acquired. Blueprint. First, we arrived at the city center square. In Pantheon, a new statue has been added. The process and furnace statue. Craftsmanship and furnace statue. Wood 550, stone 1500, natural gem 5, mana essence 2, traces of prayer 2. Description. Craftsmanship and the god of the Huth fire will bless this land, greatly enhancing crafting and forging techniques. Construction confirmed. A ray of light rose. As the light gradually faded, the statue appeared before them. The statue depicts a strong man holding a forging hammer, poised to strike. Proportionally speaking, they can only be described as strong. They don't show the short stature typical of dwarves. Process and furnace status. Category: special buildings. Effect: crafting plus 10%, forging plus 10%. Description: craftsmanship and god of the Huth fire bestow blessings upon this land. The process and forging were enhanced. Place the statue in Pantheon and continue to the city wall location. Arrive at city wall. The city wall is a level 12 structure, tall and sturdy. Watchtowers and magic towers stand atop city wall, monitoring movements in the distance. Fang Hao began using city wall, upgrading the gray iron barrier to blueprint. Level 12 gray iron city wall. Cast iron block 6,000, fine iron ingot 1,000, metal parts 2,400, mithril 300, perfect essence 12th. The blueprint of the gray iron barrier is a secondary upgrade blueprint of the buildings. In other words, the existing city wall will be renovated. The amount consumed by a level 12 city wall is already quite staggering. The fine iron ingot, in particular, reached a staggering 1,000. That's simply outrageous. But Gray Iron City, the sturdiness of the city wall is equally astonishing. For one's own safety, these materials are worth the expense. Upgrade confirmed. The light enveloped city wall. A layer of iron gray metal completely envelopes city wall. From the outside, it looks exactly the same as the city wall in Gray Iron City. In this way, even if his city is no match for a level 15 Gray Iron City, it will still be able to handle ordinary attacks. After completing these two buildings, Fang Hao continued to build the blazing furnace, precision factory, tea roasting workshop, arsenal, and mechanical research institute in the city. The flaming furnace and precision workshop were used by the skeleton blacksmith and were built near the blacksmith shop. Fang Hao's roasted tea workshop was built on the edge of the production area. The workshop needs tea to operate. Fang Hao plans to obtain some planting materials from the dwarves next year, and also recruit some people from the rabbit people and fox people villages to produce roasted tea. As for the armory, it was built on the edge of the warehouse area. Because it stores gunpowder and shells, it is still quite different from warehouse. To avoid any unexpected situations, the Instrument Research Institute was built in the industrial area near Lord's Manor. It's currently vacant. There aren't many talented people in the territory to conduct research. It needs to be cultivated gradually. After construction was completed, Fang Hao continued to produce a large number of a 5-barrel organ cannon and windbreaker anti-air ballista. Skeleton Ogre and a few others started moving things up city wall. Cannons appeared on the city wall. In an instant, the city wall, which was meant for defense, became both intimidating and lethal. Under the influence of hundredfold amplification, the number of cannons is also quite large. Even after the city wall was covered with cannons, there were still quite a few cannons left on the open ground in front of it. Fang Hao thought about it. Open the territory channel, edit the message, and send it out. Dong Jieyue and his 13 transmigrators were awarded 1 5-barreled cannon, 2 dwarf cannons, and 2 anti-aircraft ballistae for their meritorious service in the war. Dong Jieyue received double the amount. These words immediately caused an uproar in the channel. Damn, what kind of war is this? The boss is directly rewarding us with cannons. How come I missed it? 5-barrel organ cannon. I've seen 4-barrel organ cannons sold at Merchant Alliance for several million Warfire coins. Boss, you're just giving them away for free? That's outrageous. Dong Jieyue, thank you. I'll collect it after I get back to the city. Thank you, Boss Fang Hao. Thank you, Boss Fang Hao. Dong Jieyue and other transmigrators also spoke up to express their gratitude. They were delighted, much to the envy of the other transmigrators, especially since some people know that the price of the air duct cannon is several million, and it is an orange device. Orange is considered a magic weapon by transmigrators. If we had this magical artifact, who would be afraid of any bandit's horde? They'd all die? I'm envious. I want one too. Boss Fang Hao, do I have a chance? I'm willing to pay for it. Please give me a chance. Bandits are rampant here. I need cannons to teach them a lesson. Boss, please give me a chance. Within the territory's channel, cries of poverty filled the air. Not long after, Fang Hao sent his second message. Territory members may purchase purple, level dwarven cannons. 50,000 Warfire coins per cannon. 6 cannonballs per box at 300 Warfire coins. Anti-aircraft crossbows at 30,000 Warfire coins per unit. And 24 crossbow bolts per bundle at 100 Warfire coins. Reselling and gifting are not permitted. A brief silence fell over the channel, even though they knew that Purple's equipment was already being sold at an internal price to them. But still, few people can afford to spend that much money. For a moment, it was quiet. After a while, someone sent a message. I want it. Here's the money. And give me 50 more rifles. Holy crap, she's a rich woman. West of Silverwing City, one place, an indigenous village. Li Rong and his more than 50 men were crammed into a wooden hut. The doors and windows were tightly shut, and the wooden house was dark and gloomy. Outside the wooden house, a group of people dressed in armor and carrying various weapons stood. Like bandits, they surrounded the cabin. Li Rong, stop struggling. If you keep resisting, your brother will get angry, and it won't be as simple as you falling into his hands. The man in the lead spoke loudly, his tone exceptionally arrogant. Li Rong peered through the crack in the wooden window at the people outside, her eyes filled with murderous intent. A few days ago, I received news that whoever can provide this village with a certain amount of food can be included as an affiliated village. Li Rong has plenty of resources, but is also worried about a shortage of labor. He then thought of coming here to turn the village into an affiliated village, just like Fang Hao did, and to build factories in the village. But little did they know, it was all a trap. They had just arrived when they were ambushed, losing several men before finally taking refuge in this wooden house. They are now trapped in the wooden house and in a very dangerous situation. Who are you? I don't remember knowing you before. Li Rong shouted to the outside. The other party is transmigrators, and they have a considerable number of employees. She thought for a long time, but couldn't confirm the other person's identity in her memory. But if there's no enmity, why would someone go to such lengths to set up an ambush on themselves? Haha, we have met before, but back then you were Sister Li of Xianming Tower and didn't remember me. But now, our positions are reversed. Isn't that how the tables turn?" The man continued to laugh. Li Rong looked at him more carefully again. He was in his 40s, with a full beard and rough skin. "I have no memory of him at all. Have I offended you?" Li Rong continued to ask. "No, that's not true. Then why are you attacking me here?" The man licked his chapped lips and said with a sneer, "What if you tell me now and then spread the word? Don't worry, just wait in bed. I'll tell you whatever you want to know, mouth to mouth." Thinking of Li Rong's appearance and figure, the man felt a burning desire rise in his heart. I wonder if the boss of Silverwing City will be as cold as ever in bed. Faced with such foul language, Li Rong's expression turned extremely unpleasant. But her current situation doesn't allow her to let things get any worse. Suppressing her anger, she continued, "We're all transmigrators. We should help each other. I apologize for anything I did wrong before. Please don't hold it against a woman like me. If you let us leave, I'll give you 20% of Xianming Tower's profits. Then we'll all benefit. How about that?" The man was stunned for a moment, and then he was instantly smitten. Xianming Tower is a top-tier brand in Silverwing City. Although it is still under reconstruction, the profits will definitely be substantial once it opens. I do all the work myself, and I only get 20%, which is basically free money. For a moment, he hesitated. Seeing that the man had begun to hesitate, Li Rong was secretly pleased. When I wanted to offer further advice, then they saw the man take out the Lord's book and start typing something. Li Rong's heart skipped a beat. This was someone contacting another person. In other words, it's possible that he was lying in ambush on someone else's orders. The moment this thought crossed Li Rong's mind, her heart sank to the bottom. Since the outsiders are not the instigators, the possibility of negotiation is much smaller. Sure enough, the man put down the Lord's book in his hand, rubbed his frozen hands, and said, "Little girl, are you trying to play tricks on me? Once I take you over, Xianming Tower will be mine too. I'll get more than 20% of the profits. It'll all be mine." Looking at the angry-looking man outside, Li Rong frowned again. Is this guy out of his mind? How has he survived this long? It's a miracle that he wasn't eliminated despite such frequent eliminations. The man glanced at the message from Lord's book again and said loudly, "Li Rong, come out now and I promise I won't kill you, and I'll treat you well in the future. But if..." Before he could finish speaking, a voice came from inside the house. "To your mother." The man's forehead veins bulged as he coldly ordered. Since they refused to come out, "Men, set fire to the place and see if they want to be burned to death or killed by us." Rushing in directly would obviously cause considerable losses. The dry weather, combined with the simple wooden hut, made it the perfect place to start a fire. The soldiers immediately sprang into action, searching for dry grass and torches. They planned to set the wooden house on fire, forcing Li Rong and the others to escape, making them much easier to kill. Seeing that the people outside were taking action, the people inside the wooden house became even more tense. "My lord, let's break through. We'll risk our lives to escort you out," the soldiers said. The soldier trained by Li Rong consists of 50 greatsword infantry members. This wasn't because she was arrogant, but because the area around Silverwing City was very safe. Without bandits, and occasionally encountering some starving wild beasts, even 50 men wouldn't dare approach. Who would have thought that transmigrators would attack her? Even if all your troop types are level 5, there's still not much of a chance of winning against 300 opponents. Regardless of whether she can escape, the soldier she brought out is definitely doomed. Seeing that someone outside had already brought torches, Li Rong still said, "Let me take a look first." You all prepare to rush out. With no other option, she had to break out of the predicament. I opened Lord's book, just about to explain the situation to Fang Hao. Fang Hao was seen selling cannons within his territories channel. These things were never sold to outsiders in the past. Seeing that a cannon costs 50,000 each, and the shells are sold separately, Li Rong felt another pang of heartache. But after looking at all the people outside, she had no choice but to grit her teeth and buy it. "I want it. Here's the money, and give me 50 more rifles." She'll definitely get her savings back from Fang Hao sometime in the future. Not long after, in the center of the cabin, a cannon, 6 cannonballs in a box, 50 rifles, and a box of bullets appeared. Li Rong was overjoyed. He immediately urged in a low voice, "Quick, everyone put on your rifles, and beat them to a pulp later." After explaining, he taught everyone the steps to use the rifle. Li Rong had previously borrowed a rifle from Fang Hao for shooting. He knows how to use it, but he's not very accurate. He just pulls the trigger at people. After teaching rifle, the two of them were then introduced to the cannon in the middle. Tap, tap, tap. Approaching footsteps sounded outside the door, and soldier, holding a torch, came closer. At that moment, the window was suddenly pushed open. Several rifles were extended out, pointing far away at the opposite side. The man in the lead had just been waiting with his arms crossed, but his expression changed drastically when he saw the protruding gun barrel. Holy crap! He had barely opened his mouth when a gunshot rang out. Bang, 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 bang. Bullets were fired outwards. The soldier, holding a torch, was shot and fell to the ground, the torch rolling to the side. The clatter of bullets felled large numbers of enemies, creating chaos in the air. The transmigrator's man roared in terror. Damn it, charge, break through. There are a few guns sticking out of the windows. Charge, charge. At this point, there was no time to attend to the wounded. The important thing is to take down the opponent as quickly as possible. As for running away, with so many of us on our side, why should we run away? And can we even outrun bullets? The soldiers were urged to charge toward the cabin, avoiding the windows as much as possible, and roared as they launched their attack. Kill them. People surged forward, but the few guns sticking out of the windows were no longer very effective at causing damage. Just when the man felt he was about to storm into the cabin, the tightly closed wooden cabin door slowly opened. A surprise attack? Too late. I've killed so many of my men. You'll all pay the price. The man roared, and when the wooden door is opened, cold sweat instantly appeared on the man's forehead. Cannon. He saw the thick cannon barrel protruding, aimed at the enemies who were huddled together, preparing to rush into the room. Before he could speak, a tremendous roar was heard. Bang, boom. The shockwave affected everyone, and the flying debris struck them like bullets. Because of the close proximity, even the wooden house was affected. It looked as if it had been ravaged, smashed to pieces by rubble. Li Rong crawled up from the ruins, a piercing buzzing sound echoing in her ears, her vision blurred. He pounded his head hard, trying to recover quickly. Feeling someone supporting him, he shakily stood up. Wait until visibility is clear. They discovered that the wooden house had been reduced to ruins, and a large crater had been blasted into the open space outside. The surrounding area was filled with rubble and scattered pieces of meat. This thing is incredibly powerful. Without the wooden hut to protect them, they would probably have been seriously injured. Just then, she heard a sound coming from not far away. Turning my head, I saw the man leading a few defeated soldiers, preparing to flee. Bring him here, Li Rong roared. Yes, the soldiers, wielding rifles, chased and fired. Although the accuracy was lacking, the deterrent effect was sufficient. Hearing the bullets whizzing past his ears, the man immediately knelt on the ground and raised his hands above his head. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. We surrender. The movements were executed flawlessly and with great skill. Greatsword infantry, who were chasing behind, immediately stepped forward, subdued the man who had knelt down and begged for mercy, and pressed him firmly to the ground. A short while later, Li Rong limped over. Sit down opposite the kneeling man. He crossed his legs and lit a cigarette. The man's gaze swept over the slender legs, and he hurriedly cried out, Sisterly, spare me, Sisterly, I'll never do it again. Please don't kill me. He was completely different from the person he had just been. His fierceness had turned into a look of deep remorse. What's your name? Li Rong asked softly, exhaling a puff of smoke. Wang Zhua, Sisterly, I will never dare to do it again. Wang Zhua said, bowing his head. Who sent you to ambush me? Li Rong continued to ask. Wang Zhua paused slightly, then said, No, Sisterly, I was just out of my mind and came to cause you trouble. I was wrong, Sisterly. Please forgive me and let it go. Li Rong sneered. You're quite loyal. He said to his subordinates. Kill the rest. Don't. Swish, swish, swish. A whooshing sound rang out, and the heads of Wang Zhua's men fell to the ground with a thud. Blood splattered everywhere, and the body slowly fell to the ground. Wang Zhua was filled with regret. Why had he bothered to provoke this woman? Moreover, we should keep attacking relentlessly, giving her no time to breathe. Now look what's happened. The enemy has both cannons and rifles, which wiped out their own team. Click. Li Rong took a rifle, cocked it, and pointed it at Wang Zhua's forehead. Who is behind this? If you dare to say no, I'll blow your head off. The cold gun barrel felt like a red-hot branding iron, making Wang Zhua feel uncomfortable. Large beads of sweat kept appearing, and he imagined his head being blown apart by bullets. We're doomed. At this moment, he dared not pretend to be tough anymore and immediately said, It was Chao Jingji. He sent me to cause trouble for you. It was him. He told me that if I caught you, he would give me a lot of resources. That's why I was persuaded. Sisterly, please let me go. I'm not human. I shouldn't have caused you trouble. As Wang's spoke, he burst into tears. He cursed Chao Jingji in his heart for making him cause trouble for Li Rong. If it weren't for him, I would still be sleeping comfortably in the city. Upon hearing Wang's words, Li Rong began to recall the name. Chao Jingji. I have no recollection of this. When did I acquire so many enemies? Do I have a grudge against Chao Jingji? Why did he arrest me? Li Rong continued to ask. Wang's shook his head. I don't know. He didn't tell me either. Looking at his expression, Li Rong felt that he wasn't lying. He immediately said, Give me the Lord's book. Wang's obediently presented the Lord's book with both hands. Li Rong took it, but found that she couldn't swallow it. This means that Wang's holds the city lord's book. He is merely the governor of a city and has no right to decide the ownership of the city. Damn it, who devoured your lord's book? Li Rong, feeling annoyed, threw the book back. Chao Jingji, he devoured it, Wang's replied. Li Rong said to the soldier beside him, Take some men to clean up the battlefield, then find a flatbed cart. We'll go back in a bit. Soldier left and began collecting spoils from the battlefield. As for the corpses and collapsed houses, they ignored them. The villagers will handle these matters. Besides, Li Rong hadn't even asked them to conspire to ambush him. Li Rong was thinking about Chao Jingji. His gaze fell on Wang's again, and he said coldly, Do you want to live? Think about it, sisterly. I want to. Wang's tried to rush up and hug her leg, but was kicked back. You wanted to kill me, so I'll just kill you now, and there's nothing more to say. Sisterly, I want to live, sisterly. Li Rong glared at him and continued. You lure Chao Jingji out and make him die in your place, or you will die. This, Wang's opened his mouth wide, unsure how to answer for a moment. Bringing Chao Jingji out is just asking him to betray his own people. After a moment's hesitation, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Li Rong raise the gun again. Startled, Wang's immediately said, Okay, sisterly, what do you suggest we do? I'm afraid I won't be able to lure it out. Huh, you do have some self-awareness. Li Rong kicked the city lord's book on the ground with his toe. Contact him and tell him that Li Rong has been captured. Okay, sure. Wang's immediately got to work, opening the private message and starting to send a message. Furthermore, some simple phrases were added for the sake of realism. Brother Chao, I've already won over that little wench Li Rong. What's next? Li Rong's eyelids twitched as she looked at what he had sent. Wang's immediately explained. For the sake of truth. Sure enough, Chao Jingji quickly replied. The person isn't dead, is he? Send me a picture. He wants to see the photos. Wang's wrong, Li Rong. Li Rong's face turned even uglier, and she gritted her teeth and said, Shoot. After saying that, he lay down on the ground with his hands behind his back, looking like he had been subdued. Wang took 2 photos and sent them over. Chao Jingji replied, Take me there first. I'll pick it up before dark. Don't kill anyone, and don't go too far. Understood, Wang replied. Then, he looked at Li Rong. Li Rong stubbed out his cigarette and said to soldier beside him, Call 500 brothers over. Let's go to his territory and meet this guy. Yes. Soldier quickly left. Dusk falls on the city of Wanghua. On city wall, Wanghua and Li Rong watched from afar as a group of people approached. Wanghua glanced down at the gun barrel pressed against his back. She swallowed hard and said softly, Sisterly, that's Chao Jingji's team. See, I didn't lie to you. I'm determined to follow you. You should know what to say and do, right? Lend him in, and you'll live. If he discovers anything, I'll shoot you immediately. Li Rong's icy voice rang out from the side. Wanghua shuddered. Li Rong's words were colder than this biting wind. I understand, sisterly. Just watch. Wanghua patted his chest and assured her. Li Rong patted him on the shoulder, walked down the city wall, and had several soldiers disguised and accompany Wanghua. Soon, the group in the distance was approaching. Wanghua, open the door. It's fucking cold. Chao Jingji's voice came from below. Wanghua reassessed his situation. If he spoke carelessly, militia beside him would have a chance to shoot or stab him. I can't take that risk myself, at least not for Chao Jingji. He immediately broke into a smile and yelled, Can't you see my brother Chao is here? Open the city gates quickly. The city gates opened. Chao Jingji led his men and quickly entered the city. He brought more than 100 people with him, all of whom were wearing heavy cotton armor and were quite cold along the way. Wanghua immediately ran down from city wall, beaming. Brother Chao, you must be freezing. If I had known this would happen, I would have brought it to you tomorrow. Chao Jingji rolled his eyes at him and said, I'm already here. What's the use of saying all this? Where is he? Is he still alive? Wang Zhua knew he was asking about Li Rong. He immediately said, how could he die? I remember that. Capture him alive. Chao Zhengji nodded. Bring it out. I'll take it with me. Wang Zhua paused slightly, then continued. Brother Chao, it would be best if you went to take a look before taking her away. It's a bit difficult to take her with you right now. Chao Zhengji was taken aback. You broke her? No. Please go and take a look. With that, she led Chao Zhengji toward the city lord's mansion, while turning back to call out. Hey you! Take Brother Chao's men to the room over there and wait. Don't let them all freeze. Chao Zhengji didn't say much, just nodded and told his men to follow. The two entered the city lord's mansion. As soon as I entered the gate, I sensed something was wrong. The guards are a special 5th order troop type. When did this work of mine have a special troop type? How come I didn't know about it? Something doesn't seem right. He was analyzing the situation in his mind when he heard Wang Zhua's voice in his ear. Sisterly, I've brought this bastard to you. Huh, Sisterly, you dog? What's going on? Chao Zhengji suddenly looked up and saw a slender woman sitting to the side, her legs crossed, her fair fingers flicking off cigarette ash. Li Rong. He had met Li Rong. This kind of strong woman, with her boss-like aura, is unforgettable at first glance. Now, Li Rong hardly looks like a prisoner. She looked more like a young mistress of a wealthy family, waiting for a report from her servants. Wang Zhua, what are you up to? Chao Zhengji asked sternly. Wang Zhua glared at him, then ran obsequiously to Li Rong's side, bowed respectfully, and said, Sisterly, this guy brought more than 100 people, and dozens of them are special troop type, 5th-tier pilgrim infantry. I have them all taken to the prearranged locations. Only then did Li Rong withdraw her scrutinizing gaze and nod. Well done. Wang smiled apologetically. Of course. Seeing the situation unfolding before him, Chao Zhengji could easily see that Wang Zhua had betrayed him. His face turned extremely pale, and he turned around to look. The door was blocked by infantrymen carrying heavy swords, and it was clearly impossible for him to break out on his own. Wang Zhua, what are you doing? Chao Zhengji called out again. Wang Zhua's smile vanished, and he immediately cursed. Damn it! How dare you call me Wang Zhua? Call me Brother Wang. Chao Zhengji was speechless and didn't intend to waste any more words on this brainless guy. He looked directly at Li Rong and said, Sisterly, you've got some skills. You've managed to win over that idiot Wang Zhua with just a few words. You motherfucker, who are you calling an idiot? I'll skin you alive in a minute. Wang Zhua rolled up his sleeves, ready to go up and teach him a lesson. He actually thinks he's someone important just because he calls him Brother Chao. Li Rong looked at Chao Zhengji and, without wasting words, said directly, Chao Zhengji, right? I don't seem to know you. So why did you kill me? She was certain that she did not know Chao Zhengji. Both Wang Zhua and Chao Zhengji are no longer on the same level as Li Rong. Li Rong's ability to attend aristocratic balls signifies that she has begun to engage with high society, something that people like them cannot compare to. Since they're not on the same level, there's little chance of contact, and they can't really be considered enemies. Chao Zhengji, who had been somewhat flustered, quickly calmed down. It seems that the situation has not yet escalated to the point of calling for war. He sat down calmly and said, There was a misunderstanding, but Sisterly has the upper hand now. I, Chao Zhengji, admit defeat and promise never to cause you any more trouble. You want to leave? Li Rong exhaled a smoke ring and glanced at him. Sisterly, why make such a big deal out of this? We're all on the same side. Let me off the hook, and I'll remember your kindness in the future, Chao Zhengji said calmly. But in his heart, he had already begun to consider ways to leave this place. How I escaped the room, and then how I escaped the city. Entering the city was my biggest oversight. His gaze kept sweeping over Li Rong. Perhaps taking this woman hostage would make him safer. What are you looking at? Trying to kidnap me? Li Rong's voice interrupted his thoughts again. No, I just regret offending you, Chao Zhengji hurriedly explained. Li Rong didn't care and continued. Tell me, why do you want to kill me? Perhaps this is your last chance, otherwise you will die. Chao Zhengji felt a tightness in his chest. This woman is really going to kill someone. Sister Li is a smart woman. You might be able to kill me, but the men I bring will fight to the death to kill you if they know I'm dead. 5th-tier pilgrims can greatly enhance their attributes for the sake of their faith. In street fighting, you are no match for them. Chao Zhengji raised his head slightly. His face was full of confidence. Pilgrims, according to the game, are similar to berserkers. The power of faith freed them from fear and pain, and greatly enhanced their overall attributes. When they get really into a frenzy, They've never been afraid of anyone in these kinds of street battles. Chao Jingji may not escape death. His subordinates have gone out of control, and Li Rong and the others are unlikely to survive either. Oh, you think we've brought you here, and we'll just let your soldier retaliate? Li Rong retorted. Chao Jingji frowned, a sense of foreboding rising within him. Before he could speak, suddenly, gunshots rang out from outside. Bang, bang, bang. The gunfire was unusually frequent, but it didn't last long. Not long after, a voice came from outside the door. Sir, all the enemies have been killed. Not a single one survived. Chao Jingji knew that this was not the voice of one of his men. We're doomed. Strip them of everything and throw their bodies out to feed the dogs, Li Rong said calmly. Yes. Soldiers' footsteps faded into the distance. Chao Jingji's forehead was covered in sweat. At that moment, he was truly panicked. How does this woman have guns, and so many of them at that? He cautiously glanced at the woman in front of him. His complexion was calm, without any sign of abnormality. Killing 100 people at once doesn't seem like a big deal. That's too ruthless. Do you have anything else to say? If not, you can go and keep your men company. Li Rong's cold voice rang out again. Chao Jingji felt a jolt. He carefully stood up from his seat, his demeanor becoming more respectful. Sisterly, please let me go this time, Li Rong sneered. Take him out and execute him. The guards at the door immediately stepped forward, and Chao Jingji's expression changed drastically. He said in a panic, No, I'll tell you. It wasn't my idea. Someone wanted to arrest you. Li Rong stopped the approaching guards. He looked surprised. You were also sent down by someone else? Yes, I dare not offend Sister Li, but there's nothing I can do, Chao Jingji said with a mournful face. Li Rong continued. Who? Tell me. This? Not going to talk? Fine. Go down and join your men. No, it's Suhaid. He's the one who ordered me to deal with you, Chao Jingji hurriedly said. Li Rong's brows furrowed instantly. Saint Suhaid. Suhaid's name is well known among the transmigrators of Silverwing City. It is also the best developed transmigrators in Silverwing City. With the church backing him up, he has all the resources and manpower he needs. He's practically the protagonist of this world. Not everyone may have seen him, but everyone knows his name. Yes, he said you have close ties with his enemy and sent me to cause trouble. Now that Chao Jingji had said it, he felt no more guilty. He started to proactively talk about things to avoid being killed by Li Rong after he finished speaking. Li Rong was stunned by Chao Jingji's words. He never expected that the investigation would eventually lead to Suhaid. She dared to kill Wang Zhua and Chao Jingji. But with Suhaid, she really had to consider how she would face the church's retaliation after killing Suhaid. Saints in the church are among the candidates for the next archbishop and bishop. Even if there are many despicable and underhanded tactics within their ranks, once outsiders harm the saints, then they will definitely be eliminated by the church, especially her city, which is right next to Silverwing City. Either quietly kill Suhaid so the church can't find out who killed him, or swallow your anger and pretend nothing happened. Now, Li Rong really didn't know what to do. Put away their city lord's books and lock them up, Li Rong said softly. The soldier came up and took away all of Chao Jingji's and Wang's with city lord's books. Sister Li, look, why are you still accepting my money? Wang's was said hurriedly. Li Rong glared at him, and the latter immediately shut up. There are no dungeons in this city, and those locked in cages outside are likely to freeze to death. So they found a room and locked the two of them inside. He ordered that the guards be kept under strict watch. The two were taken away, and Li Rong opened the city lord's book to contact Fang Hao. He was direct and to the point. Suhaid arranged for someone to ambush and kill me. What should I do? On the other side, Fang Hao was standing on the first floor of the Organ Museum, chatting with Amanda next to him. From time to time, heart-wrenching wails could be heard from the second floor. It sent a chill down my spine. According to Amanda, Fang Hao delivered the captured shadow assassin, Morse, to the Organ Museum. I explained the situation to Nielsen. Nielsen replied that it was worth a try, but it would consume a lot of materials and there were risks involved. If he fails, Morse's soul will be severely damaged. He won't die, but he will become mentally impaired and dull-witted. After discussing it, Fang Hao and Amanda decided to hand Morse over to Nielsen. It doesn't look like it's going to succeed. Fang Hao glanced at the second floor. This heart-wrenching wail doesn't look like a sign of success at all. Amanda held the scepter in her hand and spoke calmly. This is her only chance to live, and it is also a test. Whether she can live or not depends more on her own will. Indeed, Only after the original contract was terminated would Fang Hao and the others accept her and sign a new contract with her. Otherwise, the only option would be to kill her directly and turn her body into a skeleton. Well, I hope she succeeds, Fang Hao said. Bite. Just then, Lord's Book sent a private message notification. Upon opening it, one would see the story of Li Rong being ambushed by Su Haid. He replied immediately, "How are you? Are you all right?" "I'm all right. I caught 2 men who ambushed me, and from them I learned that the mastermind behind it all is Su Haid. Now I'm not sure whether I should kill Su Haid or what I should do." Li Rong's message came through. Her hesitation can be seen from her words. Ambushing her means that both sides have already made their move, but at this point, she cannot attack the other side. Su Haid could hit her, but she couldn't fight back. This left Li Rong feeling frustrated and hesitant about whether to fight to the death. Fang Hao was equally surprised. I was surprised that Su Haid would take action against Li Rong, and I was also surprised that Li Rong had actually captured Chao Jingji. Chao Jingji was investigating the undead north of Pearl City in the channel at the time, and he also asked Fu Lei to contact him, try to find out the other party's identity. Fu Lei made no progress. He was captured by Li Rong. Based on this analysis, Su Haid's target was likely himself, while Li Rong was implicated. After thinking for a moment, Fang Hao said, "You need to weigh the pros and cons yourself. If you want Su Haid to die, arrange for someone to kill him, and then I will use teleportation to pick you up and take you away to choose a new city to develop in. However, you will need to give up Silverwing City, and the market for Xianming Tower in human cities will also be affected. If we're not in a hurry to kill him, we can have the people you arrested become traitors and inform us of Su Haid's plans. Since they've already betrayed Su Haid, it won't be difficult to persuade them to become moles." Silence fell on the other side. After a while, Li Rong's message finally came through. "I choose the second option. Let Su Haid live a few more days. Okay, recruit more troop types within the city. Be careful when you go out. I'll provide you with some defensive equipment," Fang Hao said. "Okay, I'll go talk to them now." Kindness. The two ended their chat. Fang Hao sat in the chair, also pondering Su Haid's intentions. As transmigrators, they certainly know they have a connection with the dead. It's just that we can't get solid evidence right now. But why would he target Li Rong? Given his current status, he probably wouldn't pay attention to someone like Li Rong who's in business. Was it just because he was implicated? It doesn't seem right. While they were thinking it over, the shouting from the second floor suddenly stopped. Approaching, a row of funeral priests carrying bottles, jars, and various other objects came down the stairs. After bowing to Fang Hao and Amanda, he began his work. Right now, the most prestigious items in the territory are the funeral priests at the Organ Museum. They were all wrapped in Amanda's gold, making them gleaming gold all over. Arriving at the Organ Museum is like trying to break through the 18 bronze men formation. This also shows the importance the undead place on necromancer and funeral priest. Even Amanda had to be on good terms with these people. At the very least, she couldn't have a bad relationship with them. Not long after, Nielsen came down. Behind him followed Shadow Spikes, who were completely naked and whose purple skin was covered with all sorts of strange patterns and symbols. The Shadow Assassin possesses an elfin face, a shapely figure, and pale purple skin accented with touches of vibrant red, giving her an exotic and alluring beauty. Nielsen bowed to the two men. "Sirs, Miss Morse's original contract has been terminated, and she is no longer bound by any rules." Fang Hao realized what was happening and immediately took out a robe from the Lord's Book and draped it over Morse's shoulders. Morse kept his head down, motionless, looking lost in thought. "She this." Fang Hao looked at Nielsen, pointed to her head, as if to say, "Is she out of her mind?" Nielsen replied, "It was very successful, but her soul was still significantly affected. This effect is not irreversible. She will recover to normal after a few days of rest." "Oh, turns out I'm a bit dazed now. No wonder I came down naked. So now, can we sign a new contract with her directly?" Fang Hao continued to ask. Of course. Fang Hao immediately found a blank page of the Purple Hero contract in the Lord's Book. He took Morse's hand, gently pricked it, and pressed it onto the contract. A beam of light appeared and reintegrated into Morse's body. Throughout the entire ordeal, Morse remained like a puppet, allowing himself to be manipulated without resistance. After everything is done, Fang Hao went out and summoned 2 maids, instructing them to dress Morse in warm clothes and arrange a room for her to stay in. After a few days, when her mind is clearer, we'll talk to her about the future. 3 days later, A team that had come from Bafing Mountain finally arrived at Fang Hao's location amidst the biting cold wind. The team leader, skeleton ogre hero, Rochuan. Behind them were dense skeleton soldiers and a row of wagons filled with dwarf corpses. It's fortunate that the weather is like this. Otherwise, the corpses would have been stinking long ago if they had been transported from Bafing Mountain. At the city gate, Fang Hao was dressed in warm clothes and held his leather hat on his head to keep it from being blown away. They welcomed Rochuan and his group of skeletons into the city. My lord, Belurga has confirmed that these may be the corpses of dwarven heroes, but Scholar Nielsen is still needed to confirm them. Rochuan stepped forward and said loudly. So many. Fang Hao glanced at the carriages behind them. Where do dwarves find so many heroes? Rochuan hurriedly explained. The war was quite intense, and many of the corpses were indistinguishable, so we simply brought them all back. Okay, Fang Hao said to the person behind him. Bring Scholar Nielsen over. When the spirit-binding guard left and returned, Nielsen, the gold-eating Queen Amanda, and the entire funeral priest walked over together. After gesturing for everyone not to bow, Fang Hao said directly, Nielsen, can you tell which ones are heroes and which ones are ordinary dwarves? Yes, sir. Nielsen began the verification process. The classification of the bodies is not progressing smoothly. Due to the presence of artillery shells and the excessive use of detonators during the battle, the corpses were quite fragmented. The tattered flesh was piled together, and the weather was cold at the time. They were all frozen into clumps. Fortunately, apart from Fang Hao, everyone else present was a ghost, and no one showed any adverse reaction. Fang Hao stood to the side, chatting with Amanda about future urban development, racial diversity, and how to better manage these issues. Amanda, formerly a queen, had profound insights into governance. The methods he described all seemed very practical to Fang Hao. Previously, he would talk to Nielsen about these issues, but now Amanda has also joined in. Another member has joined the think tank. Nearly 2 hours have passed. The funeral priests then sorted through all the corpses. 5 hero corpses were obtained. The rest were the corpses of ordinary dwarf soldiers, who were carried to the transformation field by the other ordinary skeletons. Transform it. My lord, these 5 are the corpses of the dwarven heroes. Their body structures are still intact, and any missing parts can be repaired using materials, Nielsen said. Fang Hao nodded. Then thank you for your hard work, scholar. Okay. Nielsen nodded and waved slightly. The funeral priests then lifted the body and walked together toward the organ museum. Since the number of heroes in the territory began to increase rapidly, Nielsen is no longer as busy as before. Through Merchant Alliance, Nielsen bought a large number of books and spent his days reading in the organ museum. Playing dominoes with other people in the territory occasionally is quite relaxing. Now that these heroes' bodies have been transported here, it's time for Nielsen to get busy again. The body was carried away, and Fang Hao followed the other skeletons to the skeleton transformation field. Standing before the skeleton transformation field, watching the fine sand in the transformation pool slowly swallow the corpses. Following this major battle, several new skeleton soldiers have been added to the skeleton transformation field. They were all dwarfs. Skeleton Unicorn, Tier 3, Skeleton Dwarf Miner, Tier 3, Skeleton Dwarf Warrior, Tier 4, Dwarf Blast Miner, Tier 5, Skeleton Longbeard Warrior, Tier 5, Skeleton Dwarf Rider, Tier 6, Skeleton Thundergunner, Tier 7, Skeleton Engineer, Tier 8. Wow, so many new troop types have been added. It ranges from the 3rd order up to the 8th order. Having an 8th tier troop type already reveals the depth and potential of a race. Races like trolls, who are naturally physically strong and born with a high rank, consist entirely of infantry when they enter the battlefield. Once you find the right method, it's actually not that difficult to deal with. Those races with complete traditions and a full range of professions are the toughest nuts to crack. The skeleton unicorn has no special attributes and is a jungle mount. It can maintain a fast speed even in jungles and rugged terrain. Let's continue looking at the dwarf troop type. Skeleton Dwarf Miner, Tier 3. Faction, Undead. Racial traits, Undead, Hollow Skeleton, Light Weakness. Skills, Safe Mining, Leyline Sense, Rapid Mining. Inherent abilities, Intermediate Mining Proficiency, Intermediate Firearms Proficiency. Safe Mining. This unit has extensive mining experience, and mining safety is increased by 20%. Earth Vein Sensing. This unit can vaguely sense the location of mineral veins. Rapid Mining, or Mining Efficiency plus 20%. Note, Skeleton soldiers transformed from corpses retain their original characteristics and attack patterns. Wow. The first one surprised Fang Hao quite a bit. Dwarves allocate their talent points primarily to mining and blacksmithing. Surprisingly, there is a troop type specifically designed for or mining. But this is exactly what Fang Hao needs. Once Fang Hao has this troop type, he can recruit on a large scale to replace ordinary labor skeletons, as well as the manpower in the Coldwind Mountains and Bloody Mountains. Replace all the trolls and orcs who are mining with other laborers. Skeleton workers are far more efficient at mining than living beings. They don't need to eat, drink, or relieve themselves. Once they enter the mine, they work day and night, making them practically the Lord's most caring companion. Suppressing my feelings about the information, I continued reading. The second skeleton dwarf warrior belongs to the 4th tier combat troop type. One-handed axe mastery refers to infantry units that wield heavy axes and wear heavy armor. His attributes are decent, but Fang Hao wouldn't bother expending materials to recruit him. Because he is too easily replaceable, his presence or absence has no special effect. The third dwarf blast miner, tier 5. Dwarven explosive miner, tier 5. Faction, Undead. Racial traits. Undead, hollow skeleton, light weakness. Skills, safe mining, leyline sense, rapid mining, detonator demolition. Inherent abilities. Intermediate mining proficiency, intermediate firearms proficiency, intermediate demolition proficiency. Detonator detonation. Detonate an area using the detonator. Note: skeleton soldiers transformed from corpses retain their original characteristics and attack patterns. It is an upgraded version of the dwarf miner. An additional detonator skill has been added, along with intermediate detonator mastery. It plays a significant role in mine explosions. Keep reading. Skeleton bearded warrior, tier 5, is also a heavy infantry unit, proficient in heavy armor and two-handed battle axes. Its skills include a charge ability, which has the same effect as the bull-headed man's furious charge, knocking back enemies along the way and charging directly into the enemy ranks. Skeleton dwarf rider, tier 6, a dwarf stag rider, skilled in riding, light armor, and swords. You can ride a unicorn deer and travel quickly through forests and rugged mountain paths. It also has its own very unique characteristics. Skeleton thunder gunner, tier 7. Faction, Undead. Racial traits. Undead, hollow skeleton, light weakness. Skills, precise aim, rapid reload, thunderous fired. Inherent ability, intermediate firearms proficiency. Precise aim. With eyes as sharp as an eagle's, you can aim at enemies faster and more accurately and pull the trigger. Firearm accuracy increases by 35%. Quick reload. Years of training have enabled the thunder gunner to reload quickly, increasing reload speed by 20%. Thundershot, a dwarf blessed by his ancestors. Firearms damage is increased by 50% by the lightning attribute. Note: skeleton soldiers transformed from corpses retain their original characteristics and attack patterns. Fang Hao's eyes lit up again. Thundershooter's attributes are also quite good. It's far superior to the attributes of its own skeleton archer. He can be considered a backup archer. In case a large-scale battle occurs and more archers are needed, then you can recruit these thundershooters. Next up is the last one, the highest troop type for dwarves, the 8th tier. Skeleton engineer, tier 8. Faction, Undead. Racial traits. Undead, hollow skeleton, light weakness. Skills, ballistics calibration, rapid repair, mechanical engineered. Inherent ability, proficiency in advanced machinery. Ballistics calibration, possesses exceptional skill and accuracy, rate of fire, and position selection. His presence significantly enhances the combat power of war machines, increasing weapon accuracy by 35%. Quick repair. Engineers have some tricks up their sleeves. They can get damaged machinery up and running again quickly, increasing the speed of machinery repair by 20%. Mechanical engineer, familiar with the structure and assembly of various instruments, able to assemble and repair disassembled parts, increasing instrument assembly efficiency by 15% and instrument durability by 10%. Note: skeleton soldiers transformed from corpses retain their original characteristics and attack patterns. Being an 8th level engineer is really a great profession. Large-scale battles and scrapped equipment have piled up like mountains. The damaged equipment will allow people to sort out all the usable and recyclable parts, continue to reuse it. But most of the metal was remelted, while things like wood were simply discarded. Now that we have engineers, we can repair and maintain the equipment to maximize the usability of equipment, so that in a battle, the number of lost equipment does not exceed the number of captured equipment. Secondly, if the territory were to sell firearms to outsiders in the future, maintenance services are also available. In any case, engineers in the territory can be recruited. After reviewing the newly unlocked troop type in the transformation field, Fang Hao is in a very good mood. Among them, the dwarf miner and the dwarf engineer are of the lowest and highest ranks, respectively. It is the troop type unit he needs most. After reading it, Fang Hao had no intention of delaying any longer. Back in Lord's Manor, Haver changed you into a warmer set of clothes. They then summoned Dimitrika and unleashed the demon teleportation, targeting the troll city of Town North City in the Bloody Highlands. This troll city was originally the city of the Bloodthroat tribe. After being taken over by Fang Hao, it was renamed Town North City. The leader of the city's trolls is a female troll, Stila. The garrison hero was previously Belurga, a dwarf, but due to Belurga's participation in the Battle of Grey Iron City, the area is now guarded by the skeleton ogre hero, Giant Wall. When Fang Hao and the other person opened their eyes again, it had already appeared in the troll's hall. The tall, spacious hall was filled with towering trolls. At the head of the table sat a female troll, equally tall and dressed in a light green, low-cut cotton dress. That's right, Stila. The sudden appearance of Fang Hao and his companion surprised everyone. Stila was the first to react, quickly walking down and hurriedly bowing in greeting. Your Excellency, Lord. Seeing their leader bow so respectfully to a human, most of the trolls who had never seen Fang Hao before exchanged bewildered glances. What's going on? But when they saw more and more people bowing in unison, they realized what was going on. This human is none other than Lord Fang Hao, the ruler of the entire Bloody Mountains, a human lord who can decide the life and death of the troll tribe. In an instant, the entire hall bowed in unison. The servants at the door even knelt down, their foreheads pressed against the ground. Fang Hao glanced at everyone. It seemed the trolls were having a meeting. After handing the place over to Stila, he didn't pay much attention to it. As long as the mining went smoothly, he also provided the trolls with ample supplies. Get up, all of you. Fang Hao stepped forward, past the group of trolls, and sat down in the main seat. All the trolls straightened up in unison. Stila had a chair brought over and sat down in the seat to Fang Hao's left. The social structure of trolls is still somewhat primitive. This has a lot to do with their personality and thought process. Apart from Stila, who was dressed like a chieftain, most of the trolls below him were dressed more like savages and hunters. In the dead of winter, he was only wearing a beast hide coat. His two thick arms were bare, and the clothes they were wearing, I don't know what they were, they looked like grass. Anyway, it was a rough style. Stila, are you having a meeting? Fang Hao asked softly. Stila immediately replied. Yes, Lord, we are allocating the tribes to mine next year, and we also plan to form a caravan to sell some goods after winter in exchange for resources. Kindness. Fang Hao was somewhat surprised to hear Stila's idea. The trolls thought of forming caravans instead of resorting to plunder. This is already a breakthrough in thinking. Who came up with the idea of the caravan? Fang Hao continued to ask. Stila immediately became a little nervous and said cautiously, It's me, sir. This is just a thought. If you don't agree, sir, we will immediately cancel the formation of the caravan. The troll race is a defeated race, governed by the law of the jungle. The trolls of the Bloody Mountains are all slaves of Fang Hao. This includes the offspring of slaves. Fang Hao said, It's good that you have this idea. You can continue to research it yourselves. If you encounter any difficulties or need anything, you can tell me. I will give you some support. But you also need to remember that the trolls are no longer the barbaric tribes of the past. Don't always think about solving problems with violence. Upon hearing that Fang Hao would support the caravan, Stila's face immediately lit up with joy. The trolls below also had different expressions and were whispering among themselves. Previously, more than half of the people opposed the caravan's proposal, as trolls have never had a tradition of trading with other races. But now that Fang Hao supports this, the opinions of others are no longer so important. Stila nodded, suppressing his joy, and said to those below, All right, you can all go back now. We'll reconvene for the meeting tomorrow morning and discuss the caravan and mine matters then. Yes. All the trolls replied in a deep voice and strode out. Troll Hall fell silent again. Only Fang Hao, Dimitrika, Stila, and a few troll guards remained. Stila stood up from her seat and knelt down directly at Fang Hao's feet. Their attitude became even more respectful, like that of a servant. "Lord, I wonder what brings you here today," Fang Hao said. "I came here because of the mine. Please tell me your orders, sir, and I will arrange them immediately tomorrow," Stila said hastily. Fang Hao nodded and continued. "How is the personnel allocation for mining operations?" "The trolls have 12 iron mines in operation and 10 large quarries. The dwarves also have 2 iron mines in operation and 10 mines that are not yet in operation. There are even more mineral resources deep in the Bloody Mountains, but we don't have enough manpower to mine them right now," Stila replied quickly. It seems she has all this data memorized, or perhaps they've already discussed it, so the number is clear. The Bloody Mountains are rich in minerals, but the trolls were killed by Fang Hao, reducing their numbers to less than 1%, leaving them unable to mine such a large amount of mines. Therefore, many mines are left vacant. No mining was carried out, Fang Hao said directly. "Well, this time, I will recruit a skeleton soldiers species suitable for mining. They will be in charge of mining, and the trolls can act as managers. You can assign new jobs to the trolls that are replaced." "Really? That's wonderful. Thank you for your mercy, sir," Stila asked excitedly, her eyes filled with anticipation. There are too few trolls. According to Fang Hao's requirements, maintaining the mining volume of mine would consume most of their manpower. There's simply no one to help with other tasks. She couldn't control the skeletons. There were simply too few of them. Now that Fang Hao doesn't need trolls to enter mine, more manpower is freed up to handle the rest of the work. The trolls will also have a better and more comfortable development path. Fang Hao patted her on the shoulder. "Of course it's true. If there's enough or mined in the future, the trolls will also receive corresponding rewards." "That's wonderful, sir. Troll Stila's loyalty to you has increased by 5 points. Current loyalty is 97. At the same time, a system notification suddenly sounded. Stila's loyalty level was raised to 97 points. Wow, is the loyalty level already at 97? He had almost forgotten about this slave who had signed a contract with him, but now he saw that his loyalty was surprisingly high. It seems Stila really trusts herself. Fang Hao continued. "How did you come up with the idea of the caravan? Tell me about it." Stila explained softly. "Before it got cold, I visited Miss Petty's village a few times. I met many merchants there. After asking Miss Petty, I learned some things about caravans. I then thought that trolls could also sell goods, so I decided to form a caravan. Petty is the patriarch of Pigman Village. With Fang Hao's support, he also became the leader of the nearby villages. Now all the orcs in the surrounding area are following Pigman Village in animal husbandry. In addition to providing meat to Fang Hao, they will continue to sell various leathers and horses." What are some local specialties from the Bloody Mountains?" Fang Hao asked. "There are also some, such as honey from giant wild bees, rock mushrooms, and white stone powder. There are many kinds. In addition, it can also facilitate contact with the outside world, allowing caravans from other cities to come to the Bloody Mountains," Stila said. Fang Hao nodded, feeling that Stila's idea was quite good. "Since there are local specialties here, we can let them try them. If that doesn't work, Fang Hao can also collect these materials and sell them through the Merchant Alliance store. In short, we must do everything we can to bring this gradually declining troll city back to life. Don't let it become a dead city where all people just work and eat." "Yes, you can continue with the caravan business. After winter, the cities in the territory will begin to connect, and your caravans can take goods to other cities. Go ahead and do it with peace of mind." "Thank you, sir." Fang Hao looked at her more closely. She was tall, and her neckline was very low. Kneeling beside Fang Hao, one can see 2 heavy objects that look like huge watermelons. That's an exaggeration. Fang Hao still wanted to help this troll slave, whose loyalty had already reached 97%, go further. At least, their lifespan should be longer. After thinking for a moment, he said, "Stila, why hasn't your rank improved?" When Fang Hao first saw her, Stila was a 4th-tier troll. The reason she was able to stand here was because of Stila's appearance. In the troll's aesthetic standards, she was a beauty. She was the woman of Rochuan, the troll leader at the time. So much time has passed, and it's still only at level 4. Even Air and Xiaobai improved, but the troll, who is naturally very strong, did not improve. Stila's expression was not good. "My lord, I haven't trained much, and my rank hasn't improved much either." "Okay, I'll set a goal for you. Next time I come, you need to reach level 8, Fang Hao said directly. "Huh? 8th? Rank 8? Sir, that's a bit too much." "Is this too much? You trolls are naturally strong. You must reach the hero level next year, or we will reduce the supply to you trolls. You decide what to do. Steela's face turned a little pale, but she still gritted her teeth and agreed. Okay, I will definitely try my best. Fang Hao nodded and stood up. Let's go. I'll recruit some miners. You can arrange for them to go to various mines. Yes, sir. Steela followed behind and walked outside together. The climate in the Bloody Mountains is much harsher. As soon as I stepped out of the leader's hall, I could clearly feel the biting cold wind. The wind was whistling in my ears, and I had to raise my voice several decibels to speak. Town North City has been transformed into an undead city by Fang Hao, and the skeleton transformation field is located within the city. Fang Hao went straight to the skeleton transformation field and began recruiting. Skull Miner, 3 wriggling spines, 1 gray iron stoned. Adjust the recruitment number to 200. Recruitment confirmed. Hundredfold amplification triggered. Successfully recruiting 20,200 skeleton miners. Swish, swish, swish. Beams of light appeared. A whole host of dwarven skeletons appeared out of nowhere, filling all the open spaces in front of them. It was packed full. These dwarf skeletons are half a person's height, but their bones are very thick. It gives people a short and stubby impression. His eyes were empty, and he stood there blankly without making any movement. It can be confirmed that this is a regular skeleton that hasn't watched Soulfire. Everyone, stand in neat rows in the open space. Fang Hao shouted. Splash! The dwarven skeletons sprang into action, coming down from the rooftops and crawling out from the ditches. They began to line up in the square in front of the military camp. Fang Hao continued to create mining tools. Leather handle white steel or manuscript. Cast iron block 3. White steel ingot 3. Metal parts 2. Tough leather 1. The quantity has been adjusted to 400. Production confirmed. Hundredfold amplification triggered. Obtained 40400 leather handle white steel or pickaxe. Then, Fang Hao shouted loudly. 1 for each person. Pick up the mining picks. The skeletons sprang into action, bent down to pick up their mining picks, and then returned to their original positions. After all the skeletons have been collected, Fang Hao continued making other items. Hundredfold amplification triggered, granting 10100 white steel or rails. Hundredfold amplification triggered, granting 5,050 white steel minecarts. Mining tracks and minecarts are appearing in large numbers again. It fell to the ground with a clattering sound. These are all blueprints obtained from conquering the dwarves, and now they've all been crafted. This will also increase the efficiency of mining. Steela, have the minecarts and mine rails put into use by the mine. Store any extras in the warehouse and replace any that are damaged, Fang Hao instructed. Understood, sir. I will handle these matters, Steela said. Then, he gave 2 instructions to the troll beside him. Before long, a group of trolls arrived and began moving all the crafted items to the warehouse. As for the extra miner skeletons in front of us, a team needs to be assembled to take these skeletons to the mine in the Bloody Mountains. After all, the Bloody Mountains are not easy to traverse. Okay, I'll leave this place to you. I have to go to the next place, Fang Hao said. I will handle the matter you entrusted to me. Steela bowed slightly again. Its towering figure, however, seemed to be looking down on Fang Hao. Don't forget to train, level 8. After saying that, he released the teleportation light screen and stepped into the light screen. Wait until the light curtain breaks. Steela then raised her head. He slowly exhaled and immediately said to the troll beside him, Invite the commander of Giant Wall over here and tell him that I need some training guidance. Yes, clan chief. The next stop for teleportation light screen is Coldwind City in the Coldwind Mountains. They also recruited a sufficient number of dwarven miners to mine the mine. After leaving Coldwind City, Fang Hao then visited the Web Weaver camp, which houses Mithril Mine. As soon as I appeared, I heard a rustling sound. I opened my eyes and found myself in a huge house woven from white spider webs. On the spider web, there were spotted spiders the size of wash basins, constantly crawling around. The entire Web Weaver camp was completely enveloped in layers of spider silk. The sun shone faintly through the spider silk. As Fang Hao walked out, he saw a spider, transformed warrior passing by. Upon seeing Fang Hao and Dimitrika suddenly appear, he instinctively reached for his knife. Fang Hao said, I am Fang Hao. Where's Domina? Fang Hao. A look of confusion clearly appeared in the spider-transformed warrior's eyes, but knowing that his leader was Domina, he immediately said warily, Don't move. I'll send someone to call the leader. With that, he He told the spider-like soldier to keep an eye on Fang Hao while he went to find someone. Before long, Domina, in her spider form, arrived with several spider-human hybrids. When he saw Fang Hao, a joyful smile appeared on his previously expressionless face. Lord, Domina descended from the spiderweb on the ceiling and transformed into human form in midair. Standing nearly 2 meters tall, her black insect armor covered her slender, beautiful legs and buttocks, while her upper body extended outwards, concealing most of her full breasts. The 4 pairs of spider legs on its back still reflected a dangerous black luster. Yes, Domina, it's been a long time. Please come in, sir, Domina greeted warmly. Fang Hao was led into the spider's nest suspended in the air. 3 round spiders crawled under Domina, Fang Hao, and Dimitrika. Domina sat right on the spider's belly. He then gestured for the 2 to sit down and chat. Fang Hao looked at the colorful spider's belly, took out 2 chairs from his storage space, and gave one to Dimitrika. My lord, is there anything I can do for you this time? It's clear that Domina was quite happy about Fang Hao's visit. Domina, how's the mining of mine going lately? Fang Hao asked. Domina said, the mining of mithril mine is going smoothly. The human slaves who came recently have filled the gaps in kobolds, and the mining progress is faster than before. Human slaves. This refers to those Life-Takers Camp's bandits. At the time, a large number of people were captured. Fang Hao felt it would be a waste to kill them, so he had Lan Yang escort them here to fill the vacancies in kobolds. These bandits plundered the village, killing and selling men and women. There's no need to pity them. Fang Hao thought for a moment and said, I will send over a batch of skeleton miners in the next couple of days. You can have them join the mining of mine then. Yes, sir. It was all explained in just 2 simple sentences. Yes, is there anything else you need? Domina thought for a moment and said, I would like some warm clothes. Also, I have a spider-transformed warrior that has reached level 10 and needs to go to your place for a hero trial. So fast, Fang Hao was somewhat surprised. I remember last time, Domina went to the main city for the hero trials at tier 10. So quickly, another spider-transformed hero has appeared. On Copperbull's side, several who were already at level 8 have now only reached level 9. Yes, sir, under your protection, Webweaver Camp has found peace and prosperity. Our people have a stable life, and many children are working hard to improve, Domina said gratefully. Fang Hao has indeed made Webweaver Camp better and better. No problem at all. You can tell the people at Webweaver Camp to focus on improving your hero. As long as they reach the hero level, I will cover all the costs required for advancement, Fang Hao said with a smile. Thank you so much, sir. Fate Weaver, Domina's loyalty to you has increased by 2 points. Current loyalty is 86th. Well, their loyalty is just SOSO. I haven't had much contact with Domina lately. They have no chance to increase loyalty. Domina is the person who wants to become a hero at camp. Perhaps we can go directly there and advance our ranks. Fang Hao wanted to use teleportation to return directly to the city. Domina shook her head. Sir, he's in charge of guarding Mithril Mine today. Then take me to Mithril Mine. I need to make some tools too. Yes, sir. The 3 of them left Webweaver Camp and got into Bone Dragon. Head directly to Mithril Mine. Outside the once empty Mithril Mine, a village had already been built by then. A log wall and spider-transformed archers and warriors clad in cotton armor guarding the city wall. Bone Dragon landed in the center of the village. From a distance, you could see several cocoons the size of human bodies hanging upside down on a tree. The exposed heads prove that these people are still alive. These? Fang Hao asked. Domina explained. Those who fight and cause trouble will be hung here and starved for a few days. Those that escape will be taken away and fed to Mother Spider. Okay, Fang Hao didn't say anything more. I don't think these bandits who go hungry for several days are that pitiful. Fang Hao, through Domina's introduction, met the spider-transformed warrior. Spider-transformed warrior, Keith, level 10. As expected, it reached tier 10, but the name, Keith, sounds like chicken shreds. Okay, that's easier to remember. Greetings, Your Excellency. Keith immediately bowed. Keith is younger than I imagined, but his rank has risen rapidly. Given Keith's rapid rise, he may well replace Domina as the new leader of Webweaver Camp. However, Domina holds a special position among the spider-human race. Back then, her name wasn't Spider-Transformed Warrior. Instead, she is called Domina, the Spider-Woman of Fate. If understood according to the structure of human society, it should belong to the aristocratic bloodline. Very good. In a couple of days, I'll have Domina take you to the main city for the hero trials. Fang Hao said with a smile. Spider transformed warrior. Keith's loyalty to you has increased by 5 points. Current loyalty is 55. Loyalty is not high. That's not surprising. The spider humans are loyal to Domina, not to themselves. Fang Hao also signed a contract with Domina, using Domina as his leader to control the spider-human race. Thank you, sir. Fang Hao patted his shoulder lightly. They also produced a large number of mining drafts, mining tracks, and minecarts in the village. Let them handle it themselves, and put all these things away. After explaining everything, Fang Hao also used teleportation to return to the main city. By the time we got back, it was already quite late. Air prepared dinner, and Fang Hao ate while listening to Njia chatter on about the interesting things that happened that day. After dinner, the group went to hot springs together. Then he went back to his room to rest. 2 days later, over the past 2 days, Fang Hao used the teleportation light screen to travel to several cities within his territory that possessed mine. They recruited dwarf miners to replace all the original living being miners. Of course, the replacement living beings do not include those bandits and sinners who did many bad things and were sent to the mine. These people will only spend the rest of their lives in the dark and treacherous mine. Fang Hao just washed her face today. Then I heard a private message notification. Upon opening it, I found it was Zhang Bin. Boss, a small caravan has arrived. They brought some construct parts and blueprints. I think we can find a construct quest chain, Zhang Bin said. Chain tasks are a term used to describe transmigrators within a channel. This refers to a series of tasks that offer special rewards or items. Complete a series of preliminary tasks to finally receive the reward. This saying also originated from the game at that time. What's going on? Tell me in detail. Fang Hao took the towel Xiao Bai handed him and asked in reply. Yes, that's how it is. Zhang Bin began to tell his story. His territory opened up markets and began to establish trade ties with surrounding villages and cities. Today, this caravan arrived outside the city. In this weather, the sudden appearance of a caravan almost led to them being mistaken for bandits and killed. After inquiring, it was learned that these people came from a village to the west. They brought goods to exchange for grain. They left after the exchange. Zhang Bin didn't take it seriously at first, and just let his men take a quick look and give them whatever they could exchange for. Later, his subordinates found Zhang Bin and produced the construct, blueprint, and many parts. In the hands of ordinary people, or even ordinary city lords, this kind of thing is no different from garbage. Therefore, there is no way to set a price. But when Zhang Bin saw it, his heart started pounding, and he immediately thought of Construct's chain of tasks. They immediately contacted Fang Hao. Fang Hao also became interested after reading the message sent by Zhang Bin. Finding a way to unlock Construct would be a good thing. Even if only an energy core can be unlocked with the blueprint, he was also able to mass-produce stone golem constructs. This is a massive construct that is immune to all kinds of negative elements. It's still quite powerful on its own. In particular, the fact that it can be traded indicates a large market potential. Okay, I'll be right there, Fang Hao said. With Air's help, she changed into a nice set of clothes. After summoning Dimitrika, he immediately released the teleportation light screen and headed to Zhang Bin's territory. Walk out from the light curtain. Zhang Bin was already waiting on the side. Boss, it's Commander Dimitrika. Zhang Bin stepped forward with a smile. Fang Hao nodded. Where are they? Zhang Bin announced to the public. Let that businessman in. Yes. Before long, a middle-aged indigenous man dressed in heavy winter clothing walked in, led by guards. His gaze quickly swept over hall. He bowed slightly to the people present and said, Adonis greets you, esteemed sirs. Zhang Bin glanced at Fang Hao, still acting as the city lord. She spoke softly. I heard from the servants that you brought some construct parts, intending to exchange them for a certain amount of grain. Adonis took off his cotton hat and said respectfully, Yes, sir, this winter is much colder than usual, and we would like to exchange it for some food. No wonder they brought goods over in this weather. This is a real food shortage. Zhang Bin produces grain, Orc territory produces meat, and Fang Hao has trade dealings with Merchant Alliance, ordering a large amount of grain. The territory has enough food to get through the winter. I'm not afraid to exchange with the other party. We do have food, but these construct parts are probably useless to us. After all, I don't have any construct parts, and they have no other use. Zhang Bin shook his head slightly. No, sir, I brought a construct. Blueprints, as long as someone under your command can read them, and with these parts, you can assemble a construct. The remaining parts can be kept as reserves for replacement. The merchant Adonis hurriedly said. Then why don't you just ship a construct to me directly? Why do we have to assemble it ourselves? Zhang Bin said. Sir, the completion of the finished product will cause a lot of trouble. Adonis scratched his head. Show me the blueprint, Zhang Bin said. Adonis took a blueprint out of his sleeve and handed it to Zhang Bin. Zhang Bin glanced at it and then handed it to Fang Hao. Ghost Hound Construct Blueprint, Blue. Iron Statue Hound. Energy Core 1. Basic Hound Head 1. Basic Hound Torso 1. Basic Hound Limbs 1. Basic Hound Tail 1. Hound's Basic Head. 8 iron, 5 cast iron blocks. 4 white steel ingots, 3 copper ingots, 12 metal parts, 8 precision parts. Hound Basic Body. Iron 15, cast iron block 10, white steel ingot 8, copper ingot 5, metal parts 18, precision parts 15. Hound Basic Limbs. 12 iron blocks, 8 cast iron blocks, 7 white steel ingots, 5 copper ingots, 22 metal parts, 18 precision parts. Basic Hound Tail. Cast iron block 5, white steel ingot 5, fine iron 5, metal parts 25, precision parts 22. Description: a small construct skilled in hunting. Its compact size allows it to quickly traverse dense forests, track targets, and capture prey. Wow, it really is a complete construct blueprint. The quality is blue, but the effect is still quite good. It can be used for hunting, and soldier can take it on patrols. Ordinary undead don't move very fast. Enemies can turn and run away, making it difficult to catch them. If you equip yourself with this type of hunting dog construct, catching up with and holding off enemies shouldn't be a problem. However, problems still exist. No energy core blueprints cannot be mass-produced. Fang Hao asked. Without energy core blueprint? Adonis looked at Fang Hao, his smile still intact. No energy core blueprint, but this time I brought 2 energy cores. If you need them, I'll try to bring more energy cores next time. Fang Hao didn't say anything, but handed the blueprint back to Zhang Bin. Zhang Bin then returned it to the merchants below. I'm sorry, we have some issues with your construct. We're not interested in the blueprint or those parts. We'll pay you for the rest of the items according to their price, but you can take those parts back with you. Adonis's smile froze. After hesitating for a while, he finally spoke. Sir, are these construct blueprints are rare even in Silverwing City, within the Human Federation. Are you sure you don't want to keep these? Construct is indeed good, but what you bring is not what I need. Instead, it will become a burden for me. A bunch of scattered parts, the consumption of the energy core, and future maintenance. Buying it is just buying a burden. Zhang Bin directly pointed out the drawbacks of construct. Sir, this mechanical hound is very useful, and it's a newly improved construct. Blueprint isn't as bulky as the old construct. You'll definitely need it if you buy it, Adonis said again, but sweat was already starting to bead on his forehead. To me, it's a consumable, but not irreplaceable. Unless you can get your hands on an energy core blueprint, I might consider buying these loose parts. Adonis frowned even more deeply. After pondering for a while, he explained again. My lord, perhaps you are not aware that energy core is not blueprint, but a product of goblin technology Mana Core. Mana Core is a treasure of the goblins, and blueprints are never sold to outsiders. Upon hearing the explanation of Adonis, Fang Hao's heart stirred. The Mana Core was sold once in the last Merchant Alliance auction. Lorana explained at the time that Mana Core was the core energy source for goblin technology. All goblin products rely on this energy source for power, much like a power plant in the modern world. At the event, the price of Warfire coin soared to tens of millions. Surprisingly, Construct's energy core was also produced using this Mana Core. So where did you get this blueprint and these loose parts? Zhang Bin continued to ask. Adonis hesitated for a moment, but decided to sell the items he had worked so hard to bring. Finally, he explained, we have a technician in our village. This time, the village is short of food for the winter, so he brought these to me to exchange for enough food. Meanwhile, Adonis was secretly groaning inwardly. The reason he braved the cold wind to come all this way is, I've heard that the city lord here buys everything, even the strangest and most unusual items. You can sell them here, and at the very least, you can get food and clothing in return. But when he brought Construct, the other party refused to accept it. He's already made up his mind. When he gets back, he'll fight the guy who told him he'd take anything. Make him eat all the unsold parts. Zhang Bin listened, glancing at Fang Hao beside him. He nodded slightly. Zhang Bin sighed and said, Alas, it seems your village is truly lacking in food. Yes, your excellency. If I fail to bring back the grain, many people in the village will die, Adonis said hastily, placing his hand, which was tightly gripping his hat, on his chest. Zhangbin hesitated for a moment, then finally said, I can take all these useless parts, but we need to renegotiate the price. Next time you bring the rest of the blueprint, don't bring these parts. Adonis was overjoyed and immediately nodded in agreement. Understood, sir. Next time I come, I'll bring the blueprint, not these parts. They're heavy and will delay our progress. Zhangbin nodded, stood up, and said, Come on over. Let's check your goods together and then set a price. You can go back soon. Yes, sir. Zhangbin led Adonis out of the city lord's mansion. Fang Hao did not follow them out. Aside from the blueprint, the other goods brought by this human merchant were nothing special. He doesn't need to go and see for himself. Not long after, Zhangbin returned with the blueprint and a bunch of loose parts. Boss, this is blueprint, and these parts too. The parts were more scattered than I had imagined. Even if they had blueprints, they probably couldn't assemble a working construct just by looking at the diagrams. Fang Hao took the blueprint, copied it directly, and then shared a copy with Zhangbin. He said, Don't bother trying to piece these together. Even if we manage to put them together, they might not be able to move. Zhangbin agreed. With so many parts, that person really thinks highly of me. Fang Hao continued. Keep in touch with this person and see if you can get more information about Construct, especially the technician he mentioned. It would be best to recruit him if possible, or even turn the village into an affiliated village. I'll find a way to solve the energy core problem. I understand, boss. I made a pretty good promise to that businessman. He'll definitely come back next spring, and then I'll go with him to that village to take a look. Zhangbin nodded and said, Okay, I'll leave this to you. Okay, boss. Use teleportation to return to your territory. Upon appearing, I saw Domina sitting in the hall, and Keith, the spider-transformed warrior, crawling on the ground beside her. The two of them, each holding a cup of hot tea, were waiting quietly. Maids had all gone to training, and the entire hall was empty except for the two of them waiting. Fang Hao appeared. Domina, with her tall figure, stood up, while Keith, with his bloated spider-like body, also stood up. Lord, the two bowed. Fang Hao nodded. When did you arrive? 2 days ago. Domina mentioned to herself that Keith was going to advance to the next level of hero. It seems everything is arranged now, and they've come directly with their people. We just arrived too, Domina said. Fang Hao nodded, not saying much about the matter, and instead looked directly at Keith beside him. Keith, shall we advance to the next hero now, or should we prepare? Keith was eager to speak. My lord, I am ready. He had been waiting for this day for a long time. If it weren't for the fact that his own leader didn't bring him along, he would have come by himself with the map long ago. Now that he'd finally arrived, he couldn't wait to begin the trials and become a hero. Okay, let's go then. Fang Hao led Domina and Keith out of Lord's Manor. Head towards the Merit Trial Ground. Merit Trial Ground is orange. The buildings were constructed in the central square area. The three of them walked together. The surrounding spirits, the dead, and the earth spirit maidens all cast curious glances their way. I don't understand what such a large spider is doing in our territory. As the three walked, a number of people caught up with them. Keith, who had just been excited, suddenly became nervous. His expression no longer held the confidence he had just displayed. We arrived at the training ground. Fang Hao took out a hero's heart and 100 warfire coins. Go for it. Work hard and strive for a good result. Thank you, sir. Keith accepted the gift and walked directly into the Merit Trial Ground. The next second, Keith's massive body vanished in a beam of light. The trials of heroes have begun. Fang Hao said to Domina. Let's go. Let's not wait here. Let's go sit at my place for a while. Yes, sir. The two left again and returned to Lord's Manor. The hall was empty, still deserted. Fang Hao looked at the tall woman in front of him, whose body was covered with black insect armor. Fate Weaver, Domina, Green Tier 8 hero. When Domina was promoted to hero, she was a green rank 7. After such a long time, it has only advanced by 1 level. Domina asked, Keith is very talented and his rank is rising very quickly. After he becomes a hero, will he take your place? Domina has a contract with Fang Hao. Therefore, he still needs to ensure Domina's leadership among the Spider-Men. Domina replied, No, my lord. Fate Weaver is a title bestowed upon me by the Spider Goddess. Only when I die will a second Fate Weaver Queen appear. Forehead. This idea is somewhat similar to that of the Mother Spider. The enormous Mother Spider, of which only one exists per camp, never leaves its nest. Their only job is to produce offspring. Only when the current mother spider dies will a new giant spider in the camp inherit the mother spider's position and begin to change its body, re-enter the nest, and begin becoming the new mother spider. According to Domina's explanation, the spider-human form is also like this. Only after Domina dies will a new Fate Weaver Spider-Woman appear and become the new leader. Those spider-humans with good talent and rapid rank advancement, even if they surpass the rank of the Fate Weaver Spider-Woman, will not become leaders. At most, they will be generals, similar to the tribe's first warrior or something similar. After understanding Domina's explanation, Fang Hao felt relieved. That's good. Fang Hao nodded. Domina's expression remained unchanged, seemingly not understanding why Fang Hao would worry about such a thing. He simply picked up the hot tea beside him and took a small sip. He continued, "Sir, it's very warm here. If the nests inside the camp could reach this temperature, it would definitely be a perfect place for the spiderlings to grow." The forest covered by Web Weaver Camp is now enveloped in giant spider webs. Whether viewed from above or from the outside, it looks like a peeled egg, white and round. However, no matter how thick the spider silk is, it is not suitable for those spiders to survive in winter. Therefore, many spiders die in winter. Human buildings are still better at blocking the wind than nests, and they also have solar array stone slabs that can provide a lot of heat. Didn't I have someone send them to you? Why haven't you received them? Fang Hao suddenly remembered. The stone slabs have been received, but the spider silk couldn't withstand that kind of heat, so they weren't placed in the camp, Domina said. Well, when you leave, take some furs with you. Fang Hao could only offer some furs. It seems that the sun-patterned stone slab makes it easy for spider silk to ignite. That's why Domina didn't make any arrangements. Thank you, sir. Fate Weaver, Domina's loyalty to you has increased by 1 point. Current loyalty is 87. Loyalty has increased a little more. Domina is actually a cold-hearted person who is easily moved. Some things can also easily increase loyalty. However, the two did not have many opportunities to interact, nor did they have the chance to specifically improve their skills. During the last promotion, it seems. Looking back, the last time I quickly increased someone's loyalty was when I accidentally discovered their little hobby. Despite having spider-like legs, she still looks beautiful and has the physique of a dancer, Domina. Fang Hao wondered if he should use this time to see if he could increase loyalty. Just when he was unsure how to begin, Domina spoke up. "My lord, would you like to try the game we played last time?" Fang Hao was slightly taken aback. A game? Immediately afterwards, he realized that the other person had the same idea as him. "You mean spanking?" "Yes, sir." Domina's tone remained unchanged. It seems that spanking is not a big deal. Upon reflection, it makes sense. Before becoming a spider human, one always maintained the bulky, enormous body of a spider. Not only did they lack human lower bodies and proper clothing, but they also lacked human concepts. "Okay." Fang Hao stood up and walked over. Domina immediately stood up, using her hands to support herself on the chair beside her, wrapping her buttocks around the insect armor and slightly raising them. Snap! Fang Hao slapped it down. Domina's body trembled slightly, and she let out a soft groan. However, the imagined loyalty did not increase. Fang Hao looked at his hands, which were red from clapping, and was somewhat puzzled. "That's not right. It wasn't like this before." "My lord, why did you stop?" Domina turned around, but a slight blush appeared on her usually cold face. "Hey, Domina, how about trying something heavier?" "What? For example, a whip or some branches?" Fang Hao suggested. "Sure." Fang Hao opened Lord's book and looked for a similar blueprint. Unable to find a suitable tool, he went straight back to the bedroom, found a belt, and took it down. Looking at the 2-finger-wide leather belt, Fang Hao felt a little reluctant. "Domina, let me try it gently first. If it hurts, just tell me." "Yes, sir." Domina remained in the same position. Fang Hao did not hesitate. He raised the belt in his hand and lashed out hard. Snap! A crisp sound rang out, and Domina jerked her head back, her face beaming with joy. "Domina, are you all right?" The system notification appeared as soon as Fang Hao asked the question. "Fate Weaver, Domina's loyalty to you has increased by 2 points. Current loyalty is 89. It's all right, sir. Okay, let's continue. Domina, do you want to remove some of your insect armor?" Domina nodded, and the black insect armor covering her back and buttocks quickly disappeared, revealing her fair skin. They are really no different from humans. Fang Hao immediately raised the belt in his hand and began whipping the victim in both directions. "Fate Weaver, Domina's loyalty to you has increased by 2 points. Current loyalty is 91. Fate Weaver, Domina's loyalty to you has increased by 2 points. Current loyalty is 93 to. Fate Weaver, Domina's loyalty to you has increased by 2 points. Current loyalty is 95 to. Asterisk smack, 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 asterisk. Within Lord's Manor, the sound of whipping echoed, along with the occasional cries of pain from a woman. Fate Weaver, Domina's loyalty to you has increased by 2 points. Current loyalty is 98. My lord, chieftain, I have successfully advanced to become a hero, Keith exclaimed excitedly. But as soon as I said it, I felt something was off. Lord's Manor is indeed warm, but is it really that hot? Why are the two of them sweating so much? And why is their leader's face so red? And why is he squirming in his chair? Is there a nail on the chair? Or is he sick? But how could a leader who has become a hero fall ill so easily? Ahem. Keith, congratulations on becoming a hero. Fang Hao spoke up at this moment, casually tossing the belt on the table aside. Thank you, sir, Keith said immediately. Spider Warrior, Keith, Green Tier 2. Keith's title hasn't changed much. It's simply changed from Spider Transformed Warrior to Spider Warrior. In this light, it really does seem to be just as Domina said. Even after becoming a hero, the Spider-Man still adheres to the internal rules. A soldier is just a soldier. He can't become a leader. Hey Keith, why didn't you turn into a human? You've gotten so much bigger, Fang Hao said, looking at the giant spider in front of him. At this point, Keith was still in the form of a giant spider, but his size had increased considerably. Keith scratched his head. My lord, apart from the leader, we heroes cannot transform into human bodies. Forehead. Fang Hao immediately checked Keith's attributes. Spider Warrior, Keith, Green Tier 2. Faction, Spider Transformed Monster. Racial traits, living beings, sensitive to sunlight. Insect Beetle. Legion Talent, Sprite Commander, follower of the Spider God. Skills, multiple attacks, longsword, deadly poison. Inherent skills, advanced combat mastery, advanced stealth mastery, advanced movement mastery. Legion Talent, Sprite Commander, follower of the Spider God. Skills, multiple attacks, longsword, deadly poison, web, venom spray, calamity. Inherent skills, advanced combat mastery, advanced stealth mastery, advanced magic mastery, advanced movement mastery. Description: they are rejected by the living beings and driven into the depths of dark lands, becoming hermits and hunters, wandering alone or leading giant spiders to occupy the vicinity of their nests. Keith's attributes are essentially a scaled-down version of Domina's. There is no spider-like spellcasting or dual form. This means that he did not have the ability to learn magic like Domina or to cast calamity spells. Without dual form, Keith not only cannot transform into human form, but his spider-like body also becomes larger. Now, it's more like a behemoth. The spider's abdomen, covered with various brightly colored spots, gives off an extremely dangerous feeling. Yeah, it's okay, this is fine. Fang Hao comforted him, then continued, let me see your weapons. Oh yes, sir. Keith took out his weapons and handed them to Fang Hao. Black Iron Knight Sword Green. These were previously distributed by Fang Hao to Webweaver Camp. I've been using it ever since. Fang Hao sized up Keith's current physique and asked, Keith, you've become a hero, so I'll reward you with a purple weapons. What type would you like? After becoming a hero, Keith's size increased significantly. Now, this kind of sword is actually not very convenient for his size. Hearing purple weapons, Keith's face lit up with joy once again. Webweaver Camp is very poor. After becoming a Fang Hao affiliated camp, the tribe received a new batch of iron weapons. As for purple, quality weapons, not even the leader Domina has them, let alone herself. Keith glanced at Domina discreetly, and seeing that she had no expression, he said, My lord, if possible, I would like a spear. Okay, Fang Hao agreed, and continued to call out towards the door. Go to the warehouse and get a Thunderblade halberd. The spirit binding guard, who was standing outside the door, quickly left. When he returned, he now held a golden halberd. There are still differences between halberds and spears. However, for people who usually use swords, halberds would probably be more useful. Fang Hao handed Thunderblade halberd to Keith and said, Here you go. Keep up the good work. Reach blue hero status within a year, and I'll give you a set of purple armor. Keith, the first warrior of the web camp. He took the halberd with a face full of excitement, his lips trembling slightly. The surprises kept coming one after another. This was so exciting. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chief. Keith the spider cried out, prostrate on the ground. Heath's loyalty to you has increased by 20 points. Current loyalty is 65. Heath's loyalty had increased by 10 points before entering the merit trial ground. Now, it has increased by another 20 points, but it has only reached 65 points. Fang Hao stroked his chin, looking at the male spider in front of him. I'm thinking about whether I should give him a try, and whether that Fang Hao is any good. But looking at his bloated belly covered in colorful spots, I decided against it. Let's increase it gradually. I chatted with the two of them for a while. Outside the door came the sound of hurried footsteps and the maids laughing and joking. It seems the maids from the training camp have all returned. Dozens of rabbits hopped and skipped into the hall. When you see the giant spider in the center with its colorful belly, everyone was stunned, and two of them turned around and burst into tears. Heath was now in an awkward position and wanted to explain that he wasn't a bad person. With its slender, pointed steps, it had only taken 2 steps forward when a group of maids scattered and fled. Only Jia and Air stayed, and Jia glanced sideways at Domina inside. Domina, is this your son? Domina didn't feel offended at all and answered seriously. My people came to participate in the trials of heroes, and now they have become heroes. That was fast. That's impressive, and Jia praised. Yes, seeing that all the rabbit girls were standing outside the door, Domina and Keith decided not to stay any longer. After thanking Fang Hao again, I prepared to leave. Before leaving, Fang Hao said, Domina, come over again when you have time. Domina turned around and immediately understood what Fang Hao meant. She nodded, yes, sir. Domina's loyalty will stop increasing once it reaches 98 points. Finally, the two of them were exhausted and covered in sweat, but they still hadn't solved the last 2 problems. Fang Hao plans to find another opportunity to study it properly next time, and if that doesn't work, he'll just give away some valuable items to improve those 2 aspects. After Domina left, Air and the others had also prepared dinner, and after they finished eating, Fang Hao was being served by Air and the others in Hot Spring. On the other side, Silverwing City, in the Hall of Justice, 2 men and 1 woman were sitting there. In the center is Doherty, the leader of the Hall of Justice. The 2 people on the left and right are Archbishop Milton of the Church of Light and Jagilia, the current president of the Mage Association. Jagilia is a woman who looks to be 50 years old. Her fiery red hair was streaked with silver, and her sharp eyes gave her the look of a stern and ill-tempered old lady. Although time has taken away her youthful beauty, it is still evident that she possessed considerable good looks in her youth. Wait for the servants who brought the wine to leave. Archbishop Milton spoke first. Doherty, what brings you here? Jagilia, who was standing to the side, was also looking at Doherty. Doherty spoke. The war among the dwarves is over. Milton frowned. It's over? What was the result? The Human Federation's reinforcements hadn't even arrived yet, and the other side was already finished. Moreover, the gold-eating queen, who had been making headlines for almost a month, suddenly disappeared. This caused all the nobles in the city to be afraid to leave the city, fearing that the gold-eating queen would suddenly appear again and kill a few nobles to add to the fun. With Rune dead, Balurga has become the new leader of Grey Iron City, Doherty said calmly. What? How is that possible? Milton and Jagilia exclaimed simultaneously, their faces filled with shock.